condiments, but he is a fan of you, the listeners. He is my man and yours, Rod Babers.
And I appreciate the intro as always. Let's not waste any time introducing the real MVP. This thing couldn't happen without him. He's the Idealionaire, one of the hardest working members of the ARN family. He's got a hustler spirit, period. We don't know what he's paid, but he's underpaid. But we also know he's got a front row seat to most of them Texas home basketball games for the University of Texas men's basketball team. So he's kind of our insider there. My man, Patrick Davis. How you doing, brother?
Doing good. Could have been better with a win.
Yeah,
but we'll take it for today.
No, we're gonna break it down. Yeah, I mean, it's for anybody that's panicking over this, loss. That's you trust me. You're underestimating this team in a lot of ways. If you're already panicking over it, it's the first loss of the season. They're not gonna go undefeated. Even Chris Beard said that. But there's no need to panic. I thought that they controlled the game for most of the game, and unfortunately, in clutch time, basically, is where they lost the game. And that's a great. I mean, if you want to be really critical of Chris Beard and his team and talk about winning time, I think that's what Chris Beard calls it.
That is what he calls it.
He calls it winning time.
He does.
Clutch time, I think it's the NBA term. NBA term is basically the last 5 minutes of the game when the game is within 5 points or less.
Yep.
That's what clutch time is. So I refer to it as clutch time, but that's basically what winning time is for Chris Beard. And, yeah, they did not execute well in winning time at all.
Did not.
Okay, so real quick, because I want to give the floor, because I know you guys have takes you got to get out about the team, but I'll just throw this out there, because I thought this was probably the most glaring narrative right now developing about the game. Listen to Craig Way talk about it on Light the Tower. Did a great job breaking it down. Listen to Zay, who knows ball, talk about it. At like multiple different points in the game, Texas had control of the game late. Mm-hmm. They had a 10-point lead with 8:28 left, 56-46. Had an 8-point lead with 6:44 left. 6-point lead with 3:34 left. 5-point lead with 151 left, and a 5-point lead with 1 minute left in the game.
Yeah,
that's probably the most that's the most hurtful of all of those instances I just brought up, is that they did have a 5-point lead with a minute left in the game, 68 to 63, I believe it was at the time. And if you look at it, that's probably the most unforgivable. If you look at it, that's probably the most unforgivable error for Texas late, is that they couldn't close when they were up 5 points with 60 seconds left in the game.
Yeah, that right there. And the fact of when we left yesterday, we were talking about what we were going to expect, how the game we thought was going to go, even before, like, to the last second when I decided to take that bet to cover that three. The things that we were talking about were the things that we thought we were going to see on the court, and what made me say, all right, Texas can get over this hump. One of the things we talked about was three-point percentage. It was not good for Texas again. And you start looking at the way the game played out. Texas was 7 of 22 from three. That's still 31%. They were 10 of 23. They averaged 9 a game. And I kept saying, we got to play perimeter defense. Matthew Mayer, he was on fire. He was feeling himself. He was in the zone. He was doing his thing early in the game. But at that point, you got to take him away, because you did the job on T.J. Shannon. You did a job.
Not really.
You did it until late.
Mostly regulation,
yes,
is when you did it. Just like right. What I broke down, was in regulation, not the end game, because they went into overtime, obviously,
right,
and lost the game. But and he went off in overtime.
Because the game should have been over because of the things that you just said.
12 of his 16 points he scored in overtime.
Should have never got to that.
Should have never got to that, and that's he took over then. You're right.
Yep, and that's when it was like, I knew it was over there, because
your game plan worked for the game.
But
not in overtime.
Oh, we forgot we got a little bit more left, right? So then you sit here, and the one thing that I looked at that is, we talk about it all the time. Guard play is going to win and lose games for you, right? Marcus Carr went back to Marcus Carr, the ball dominant Marcus Carr. He was pounding and pounding and pounding, trying to create, but there was nothing to create. And then what happened to this team again? Everybody decided we're going to start ball watching. What did they do in overtime? They were passing the ball. Nobody held the ball in their hands very long. Everybody was scrambling to go after it. those are the things that we saw early with Texas basketball that we were like, oh, this is going to work. It's still going to work, and to your point, it's one loss.
It's one loss.
But some of the things that you have to be able to finish is not be around ball watching and not let Marcus dribble as much as he did. Jabari Rice, what happened? Like, get the ball back. And then Tyrese Hunter, can we figure out what's going on with the cramps? Can we figure that out? Didn't you say like every single game
It's been 4 or 5 games now, yeah.
Like, what? Can we find the balance? I mean, where's the Gatorade?
In all the big games,
in
though.
every game.
In all the big
No, it's
games.
been small games too.
Yeah,
like,
but-
that's the thing. Yeah,
yeah, you're right.
Well,
So,
yeah,
yeah.
because would you have to play more minutes?
Yeah,
and
but
so the
yeah.
big games he's playing more minutes than the smaller games, so he's going to have more problems. But yeah, this to me, I thought Chris Beard. This is just a terrible game for Chris Beard because the team wasn't ready to play, and then he basically benched all his bigs because they weren't fighting hard enough. And then he benched him for the whole game.
Yeah, I know.
He just said, "No, we'll just let 7 guards go out there. We'll play 5 guards go play
Yep.
this game."
Yep.
You can't win like that.
Yep.
Because you can't rebound the ball, you can't impose your will, and there's no balance to your offense. Because they can sit on the perimeter and be like, "Yeah, we're fine," and we can just have have a center kind of sit back. You can block all your shots because you don't have anybody big to draw us out. And it just the fact that Dylan Mitchell was not in the end of that game to me.
Yeah, that's disappointing
That
to me,
to
too.
me is because I think this team, their march is
Yep.
relying on Dylan Mitchell being a better player in March than he is right now. You need to get him that experience. You need to put him in clutch minutes. And I get you want to put in guys you trust, but everyone on that team was turning the ball over last night. No one cared. It did not seem like anybody cared about ball control after having a 2-turnover game.
Yeah.
They threw so many passes. Like Marcus Carr had a pass at the end of that game to Jabari Rice. And Jabari Rice starts to cut, and he throws it behind him. And then he looks at him like, why'd you cut? You're like, you threw the ball 10 feet behind the three-point line. You can't do that.
Right.
And
right.
then look at him like, oh, why weren't you 10 feet behind the three-point line still? He's like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to get open.
Yeah.
And the other thing, too, that we were
point.
talking about when we left, turnover margin, right? Texas won that 17-15. Texas had less. We talked about the points in the paint. Texas won that
I'll give my-
38-28.
I think something Patrick brought up yesterday, right before we got off air, honestly, might have been a difference in the game. One of the biggest differences. There were a lot of differences in the game. Man, free throw shooting
Oh, yep,
was huge.
yep.
And
Yeah.
you said it was going to be big.
And down
It
the
was-
stretch.
Oh, it was huge down the stretch.
Yeah.
In Texas, they did not hit enough of their free throws.
Well, the thing about it is, Rod, it's funny because they shot more free throws because they were attacking the basket. It goes back to what you were saying. We were settling for threes.
They were 21
and
of 31.
mid-ranges.
They were 21 of 31. Texas was 13 of 27
Yeah.
on free throws.
13 of 19. Texas was 13 of 19.
Oh, 13, I think. Sorry.
Yeah. So I'm just sitting there saying, like, why are we not attacking the rim? To Patrick's point, we didn't have any bigs in there to try to fight for the rim.
Well, and I mean, like, you need a big sometimes to stretch. I get the concept is, well, we'll put a guard in there, and that'll stretch the big out because we'll all be at the three-point line. But in college, that doesn't work as well because you can zone it up a little bit easier, and you can just kind of basically be like, look, just come in the paint, and if the ball gets over on that side of the court, we'll all shift over, and you can still kind of sit in the paint. But we're just going to have a guy be able to stop anything coming to the basket, and you don't have that second – how many times do we see Timmy Allen or they make a great pass, guy cuts, defense collapses, pass, pump fake, block.
Exactly. Instead
You're
of
like,
going
man,
straight up.
dunk the ball.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know. They look tired. They
Yeah.
look like they were not ready to play a big game in Madison Square Garden. And that's what's disappointing. That's what I said is this game was worried me the most is this team, what they can do on the road. And the fact that there's not really road games scheduled in the pre-conference play.
Yeah.
This was basically the road game you're going to play, and it's not even a true road game.
Yeah.
And you didn't show up. You look like you were tired. You look like you'd rather be at home. And that's just, you can't have that. Your next road game is a Big 12 play. Like, you need to figure out how you're going to figure out this, hey, man, 40 minutes of basketball. You can't take time off. You can't make, passes where you just kind of, oh, no, I thought you'd be there. No, man, you got to protect the ball.
Yeah.
And it's
Especially
just
as guard play,
all those
man.
little things that they've been doing so well at home, you can't let it get that far off track when you're on the road.
Yeah. No, Illinois, and they really did. They played their worst game of the season, arguably, and their best game of the season in the same game.
Yeah.
You could argue that because they down the stretch, because they at one point, Illinois, if you go look at one point, Illinois went on a 1 of 12 shooting slump. had 4 turnovers. I mean, it was
ugly.
They were ice
It
cold.
was ugly.
It really was. UGLY. And I think that lasted like 4.5 minutes, somewhere around at 4:38, or somewhere around there. And it ended really with Texas. The exclamation mark on it was Dylan Mitchell's the alley oop that he got.
Yeah,
that's when you thought it was about to be over. It was
Everybody
like, yes.
thought, all right, there you go. I think I got comfortable and cracked over the Bud Light and was like, oh, we good. I'm going to go do some stuff. I'll come back. It'll be all good. That was not the case. After that is when basically Illinois took over the game. They had 17 turnovers in this game.
Yeah.
None of them came after the 9:43 mark in the second half.
Yeah.
They had so all those turnovers came basically in the first half and in the first part of the second half.
Texas led for 26 minutes. Texas led the game for 26 minutes.
No, and that's the crazy part is, and that's what's more annoying is like you
Tom
get really
Brady.
annoyed. You get really annoyed at the end of this game, and you get annoyed at that.
Yeah.
But when you watch this and go, man, if Texas played good
Yes, they
basketball,
did.
they
Yes,
would have
they
been
did.
up by 20 at the end of this game. It wouldn't have been close. But you didn't. You just kept not putting it away, and it was an 8-point lead in basketball is nothing.
Oh, for sure.
You're like a 15-point lead with 10 minutes to go is nothing because a couple threes and all of a sudden
You're
everything
back in the
switches,
game.
right?
And that's what happened.
And when you have a
That's
guy
what
like
happened.
Matthew Meyer last night who decided, I hate Texas, and I am going to make I don't care I went to Illinois, I'm still going to make y'all pay.
Yep.
He came out and just lit
It was
everybody
both
up.
of the Big 12, your former Big 12 foes
Yes.
that
Yep.
ended you because, Mayer the whole game kept him in it because he was just hot, but he had his best game of the season.
Man.
Yeah.
Against-
Oh, no, look, we can state from watching him
He
at
had his best game
Baylor
of the
and
season.
watching him at Illinois, I don't know if they didn't recruit him or if he just always hated Texas, but that man hates the University of
Well, then
Texas.
he had the Brock Cunningham thing going too, because
Oh,
the
yeah.
Westlake
No, they're-
connection.
yeah,
and
they
all
played
that.
together.
So there's a lot for him. There's like 3 or 4
Oh,
different,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
ways that he
Oh,
can
yeah.
motivate himself. Whether it be Texas should have recruited, I should be playing there. Oh, Brock Cunningham, old teammate. Oh, yeah. I want to,
Yep.
it's a lot there. Representing Central Texas, I'm sure it's part of it. But he had his best game of the season. Best game of the season.
By far. By
Yeah.
far. And the fact that he was in the rhythm where he was going through his legs, shaking, faking, doing step back, fading away, hitting threes, 5 of 5 from
5 of
three-point
5.
line. And I'm talking about they weren't questionable. They were going to the bottom of the net every single time he threw it
Defensively
up.
too, he was actually he has season high in blocks.
Yeah.
as well.
Dialed in, man.
He really was dialed in. Field goals made,
Yep.
points, and 3-point field goals made as well. Speaking of blocks, shout out to my man Joe Cook because he's the one that had the stat. It's a great stat. Illinois had 12 blocks. That's the most in a single game in program history since 2011. But also the most by a Brad Underwood coach team since they had 11 block performance. It's basically the most by a Brad Underwood coach team ever.
Yeah.
But it's the most since their game in 2014 in a game SFA versus ACU.
Yeah. and again, too, you got to remember
That's a
this.
lot of blocks, man.
Marcus Carr has been probably one of the most consistent players on the team this season. And the first half, he was 1 of 7. And in the second half, he was 2 of 7. Second half and overtime, he only made 2 shots. He got to the free throw line. He made his free throws. But other than that, he was ineffective. And that's why it was frustrating for me as I'm watching this game of where are the other guards that are coming to take the ball from him? Because you can see it. And it goes back to your point. And I heard you talking about he should have called timeouts and kind of regrouped everybody in certain moments in the game. And that is when the leadership, and I know Marcus is an older player, but you brought in Tyrese Hunter for a reason.
Yeah.
You brought in Serge Jabari Rice for a reason. And these are those reasons. So Serge Jabari Rice was playing unbelievable defense. He was all over the
and
place.
Timmy Allen was playing good offense.
And Timmy was having the ball and doing certain things, but it goes back to what we talked about the other day. I'm like, when is Timmy Allen going to show up? And then I was like, why is Timmy Allen leading us in scoring right now? We need to try to figure out somebody
no, but
else.
that's what's crazy about this game and why I just don't get what Beard was doing at Madison Square Garden at this early in the season.
Yeah.
If this is later in the season, I maybe get a little bit more of like, hey, we got to stick with our older guys. Man, this is early in the season. You can take a loss here easy.
Yeah.
I need to see those young guys and get them minutes in these games because your older players didn't care. They were turning the ball over. Like if those guys didn't have turnovers and weren't throwing up shots that weren't really good, then
Yeah.
I'd say, yeah, I get it. But they were playing like they were like, yeah, we know it's an early season game. So put Dylan Mitchell in. Dylan Mitchell's the only guy who's guarding Matthew Meyer at all.
Yeah.
You can't put Brock Cunningham out there. And unfortunately, Brock Cunningham is a little bit shorter and can't jump. Like,
Right.
he just don't have the legs. And one more thing I'm going to tell you. This is if I'm Chris Beard today, I'm going into practice and I'm saying no more layups. We're done with layups. You get 12 block shots on you because you're laying the ball. You're 6'9", you're laying the ball up. I'll tell you what, people who are 5'11" hate in basketball? 6'9" people are laying it up. Go up strong, dunk the ball. Get a
Tyrese
foul.
Hunter got a dunk in the game
You're gonna
yesterday.
get fouled, you're going to get out. But don't let them block the shot.
Yeah.
Go hard at them and dunk the ball with power, because that is the difference of, hey, man, they don't get a 3 to tie the game at the end. They don't get a shot. We're not even shooting free throws because we got 6 more points on dunks.
Yep.
We're up 6 more points on because you had the ball an inch away from the basket and you were just like, let's just lay this baby in. No. Go up strong. You're
Yeah.
6'6", 6'9". You can. I'm seeing warm-ups do it all the time.
No, there are.
Do it.
There were for Texas that I counted because I saw it too. 9 missed layups and or dunks by Texas
Yeah.
in the game.
Yeah,
I
it
got
was
him.
frustrating.
I got him 12 of 21.
Unacceptable stuff.
Yeah,
from a really good team.
And yeah, I mean it's and by the way, I guess you got 2 good defensive teams because Illinois missed some too. They went basically 6 of 10. Oh, sorry, in overtime they ended up 7 of 11 on their dunks and layups.
Yeah.
So I guess you got 2 good defensive teams, but you're right for Texas, man. Those are some gimmies. And down the stretch for Texas though, it seemed like they missed more.
Dylan Mitchell.
Once the
Dylan
second half
Mitchell
of the-
laid it up and got it blocked.
Yeah, yeah.
Dylan Mitchell.
Yeah, he should have.
That man jumps out of the gym on accident.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on
He
that.
laid up like
I
you
thought the
can't
same
have
thing.
stuff like. And I get it's early in the season. That's why I would have liked to see the young guys play more, because this is not a devastating loss, and you should have won.
Yeah.
It's it went to overtime. You should have won the game. You gave it away at the end, but there is plenty to look at, and it's not just the players. The coaching has to be looking at this as well and go, hey man, we ran some weird rotations out there that didn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And that's I heard Craig Way pointing out on Light the Tower, once they had that 8-point lead, was it 58-50? That was after the Dylan Mitchell alley-oop, right? Everybody thought, oh man, that's it, it's done. Looks like they put an exclamation mark on this win. They had 4 possessions that I looked at on the play-by-play where they missed a layup. They missed a 3-pointer by Marcus Carr, missed a layup by Tyrese Hunter. They missed a jumper by Timmy Allen, and they had a turnover, actually, by Brock Cunningham. He rebounded, then had a turnover. Their next bucket was a 3-pointer by Brock Cunningham with 4:15 left. They got that 8-point lead with 6:44 left, somewhere around there. They probably could have increased it to double digits, and they had multiple opportunities to do it, and they never could. And that's and Craig talks about that's when he felt like they made their move. That's when you start to see Illinois make their move, because after that missed layup by Tyrese Hunter, they could have made it a double-digit lead, and that was after the free throws actually by Illinois. So it was 58-51 at that point at 6:20. Then they missed 3-pointer by Marcus Carr. That was after a layup by R.J. Melendez on the fast break. That was 58-53. Missed jumper by Timmy Allen after the missed jumper by Illinois. Still 58-53. Turnover by Texas by Brock Cunningham, and then Texas gets the 3-pointer. It's 61-56, still comfortable, but you can feel the momentum shifting. And that's when Craig Way said him being there, like that's when it shifted. You can feel it. It shifted right there. It went. Texas went from controlling the game to really Illinois really imposing their will to a certain extent too on Texas.
And you could actually hear it in Craig Way's voice during the game last night, because I lowered down the ESPN broadcast and started listening to Craig Way, because I knew the game was going to be tight. Him and Eddie Orn talking about the game and some of the situations that were happening. And one of the things that Craig pointed out is he thought it should have been a 2-shot foul when Tyrese Hunter missed the front end of that 1-and-1, because they were already at 9 fouls. Then they fouled Tyrese, and I guess the scoreboard had it wrong, and so did the stat changer, because I was on stat changers too. I was watching everything as the game was happening. But again, he's a 92% free throw shooter. He very seldom misses those types of shots, and he could have iced the game. But again, it goes back to the fact They should have never been in that situation. Yeah. There was no hurry when you have that type of lead and you could work the clock. The problem I still have, and if you go back and watch the game, it was too much of what we saw at the end of games last year. Dribble, 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 no cut.
No
and
offense.
then when we do cut, you throw the ball where the guy was originally standing. And then, of course, everybody talks about the play where Marcus got into the lane and didn't kick the ball out because Sir-Jabari Rice was standing by himself. Marcus was in that zone to where he was trying to score every single time because he was struggling. And what do shooters do? They shoot. They shoot.
Yes.
But I still got back to that point of what you're talking about. He was dribbling, and not moving the ball around enough.
Yeah, 3 of 14.
No, and I mean, and that's the thing is it's, and this is the difference of home and away, is it's really easy when you're at home to remember to be setting back screens and to be cutting across and move without the ball when you're at home because it's just you feel better at home. And when you're on the road and you're tired, you just stop doing that and you're like, well, Marcus has it.
Yep.
But you can't have a possession with 7 seconds left on the clock and you come down and we don't ISO him. So it's not a clear out, but it's basically, hey, he's just going to come down and make like 2 moves and throw it up and it got partially blocked.
Yep.
That's not a play you run. And if that's what you were going to do, I get not calling a timeout right after. We don't want to call a timeout after the free throw because it's not like the NBA. The ball doesn't advance. So you still have to inbound it in your backcourt, and they can now set up a press on you in the backcourt.
Yeah.
So you may not want to do that. But what you can do is advance the ball to half court and then call a timeout and run an inbound play out of the side there.
Yeah.
And you'd have about 5 seconds to get a decent playoff and probably get 2 to 3 looks on that with passes and cuts and everything else. Now, if he doesn't want to do it because he doesn't want to show off his playbook this early in the season, that's fine. It was just everything about it seemed like that team went home really early in that game. It's like, cool, another win for Texas, and then ended up losing.
I thought it too. I mean, you look at even before, like go prior to the point that Craig Wade's talking about where you have the 8-point lead. Go to where you had the 54-46 8-point lead where both teams went cold. Remember that?
Yep.
It was like a 3 minute plus stretch where both teams were just playing. That was the worst stretch of basketball for both teams the entire game. Texas went, I think, 0 for 2 from the field. They had a turnover, 0 of 2 from the free throw line in that time span. But they also, Illinois, couldn't buy a bucket either. There were 2 missed layups, by the way, in that time span. Those 2 missed buckets were 2 missed layups.
Yep.
That, to me, was also a crucial time that Texas could have taken control of the game, giving themselves, double-digit lead, more of a cushion in this matchup. So I think the disappointment for me overall, and like I said, no need to panic. It's one loss. The team's fine. You learn lessons from these types of games. That's the whole point. If they don't learn lessons and it becomes a recurring theme, then we'll start to panic and freak out. But they had so many different chances to seal the game. You brought up the Tyrese Hunter. 21 seconds left. They're leading by 2, 68-66, and he's got a chance at a 1-and-1 and misses the first one. And then, of course, we know how the game ends there. And, of course, ends up going to overtime, and then Illinois wins. So I counted probably 4 or 5 times in clutch time where they probably had a chance to seal the game.
Right.
And they just didn't make the clutch play.
They didn't. In
winning time.
There you go. I was going to say, not clutch. Winning time.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
So that, I mean, I think you can feel good if you're a Texas fan. They controlled the game in the second half. I think I'm with Patrick. They relaxed.
Yep.
They relaxed. I don't know what in terms of psychology, but they relaxed and they thought they had this game in hand because I did too.
Yeah, it was what they had that.
We all did.
Everybody was like, oh, they got this.
They had that run at like 5-6 minutes into the second half. Where they got the lead back, that big run they had.
16-2.
And from that point on, it was they were like, cool. But they were lazy that whole, like, it wasn't at no point in that game did they feel like, did that look like a focused team. And so the good news is, man, that was a bad team that should have won that game. Like, that's one of the worst games I've seen that is the worst game I've seen Texas play this season. And they should have won the game.
And should have won the game.
Against a good Illinois team. So there is good part of it of like, man, this team's good enough to play even when they're not on their A game. The bad side of it is, man, you have to figure out some of these problems because there was a lot of little things, and little things will kill you at the end of the season.
Yep. I totally agree. No, it was a fun game to watch. I guess if you're a college basketball fan, but for Longhorn fans, a bit heartbreaking. But this team will learn from it. Is that there's so much talent, and we all know that Chris Beard's a hell of a coach too.
For
so
sure.
I think this is one of those
no overreaction today.
Yeah.
No overreaction.
I can see it today.
No,
but I think the lessons will be learned from the Texas basketball team. All right, we'll come back. We'll get into Aaron Judge signing a mega deal with the New York Yankees. He's going to stay with the Yankees. We'll talk about the deal, where it stands among all the great blockbuster deals in Major League Baseball. All of that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. Let me tell you about Dr. Greg Eckert and his wonderful team. You hear people on these very airways, all the on-air guys, talking about Dr. Greg Eckert and the wonderful work that he's done for them. And he can do the same for you. It doesn't matter what you need. Anything from general dentistry to teeth whitening to dentures, porcelain crowns, veneers, dental implants, full mouth reconstruction, even root canal therapy. Whatever it takes to ensure you're getting the best quality dental care available, that's what Dr. Greg Eckert and his team are all about. And they also specialize in easing your dental anxiety. So if you're one of those folks that has a lot of dental anxiety, my friend Dr. Greg Eckert and his fantastic team, they can put you at ease when it comes to all of your dental hygiene and your dental care. And my friend Dr. Greg Eckert is always on the technological advances in general dentistry. He's always on the cutting edge, trying to make sure he gives you the best quality dental care available. And right now, he can give you a brand new smile in just one day, permanently secured dental implants. No time spent without teeth. You get temporary fixtures until they can complete your permanent smile. You'll smile again with confidence and eat freely without pain or discomfort. We're talking about a lifelike permanent solution. So if you've been told your teeth need to be replaced, you can call Dr. Greg Eckert today to learn about this revolutionary alternative to dentures. It's a brand new smile in just one day. New teeth in one day. I know it sounds too good to be true. It's not. It's just Dr. Greg Eckert with a U. Call today for a complimentary consultation. You got nothing to lose but everything to gain. 512-345-3166. Dr. Greg Eckert understands the quality of your smile can affect the quality of your life. So give him a call today, 512-345-3166, or visit dreckert.com, DRUECKERT.com. All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Time for our midweek movie music. And that's from my man Patrick, inspired by a film, playing songs from that soundtrack, plays them for us, and we're supposed to guess, based on those selections, what the featured midweek movie music is for this week's show. Hard, you said you already got it. Go ahead. Throw it out there.
I think I'm in there. I don't know.
Hard was confident. He said I already got it done.
I know that this song
Go
was
ahead.
in Beverly Hills Cop.
There you go.
Nice.
That is impressive.
Yeah.
That's a solid win right there.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yes,
All right.
Beverly Hills Cop came out December 5th, 1984.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. I was like, I didn't think it came out then, but I know this song right away, and that's the only time
Yeah,
I
you
ever
hadn't
really
seen
heard
it.
that song.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I know the
Yeah.
song. I didn't know
Yeah.
like it was like a feature on the soundtrack.
Yeah.
But well done.
Yes.
There you go.
38
First-
years ago Monday.
there you go.
38 years ago.
I like
Wow.
that. All right.
I like it.
And okay, so where does that stand among the great Eddie Murphy comedies?
But will Beverly Hills Cop be considered a comedy? Was it considered a comedy because it was
I mean, I think it's
I think
a
it's
comedy.
considered
Yeah,
comedy
it's-
drama? Was it a
I mean,
comedy
no,
drama?
I
he's
think
not falling
it's-
for the banana in the tailpipe.
Yeah, I think I think it's considered a comedy by most. You
Okay.
can get specific, I'm sure.
Yeah,
if
like
you want to.
yeah,
If you really
it's-
want to
I'm sure
die.
it's a genre of like comedy action or something like
exactly.
that. But
I'm sure if you wanted to do it, you could.
there's
do
a lot more.
specific
There's more deaths in it than most comedies, but
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
probably true.
that's what I was saying. That's why I was like,
That's probably
eh.
Yeah, it's a comedy.
But I think this was
Broadway.
one of his best movies, Beverly Hills Cop, the original one, not the rest of them that ended up going through. I think this was one of his better movies.
Better movies like top 5 Eddie Murphy movies?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you're
Absolutely.
probably right about that.
you know
haven't-
they're going to be trying to make another one.
I'm
no,
sure. It's
don't do it.
They're
probably
trying
good.
to.
Oh my god.
Don't do it.
That's gonna be like Rod looking at not Harlem Nights, but
Oh,
coming to America.
America. That second one was really bad.
That second one was terrible.
It was horrible.
Terrible.
Yeah, man. It was really bad. They shouldn't have done it. They should have did it.
But I will put Coming to America, Harlem Nights, Beverly Hills Cop. Those would be probably my top 3. And then his stand-up, Raw and Delirious. Those are considered movies. So I would put them as my top 5 Eddie Murphy that I would watch. Anytime it would be on, I would watch some of it.
I gotta look at the IMDb of Eddie
Yeah.
Murphy. Doesn't come
Yeah.
top
I
of
feel like
mind to
there's
me.
some
I
that-
feel like some we may have forgot. 48
Oh, yeah,
hours.
48
Trading Places.
hours, that's
So I'm
not
saying,
one.
like if you go back and look at it,
Yeah.
you may
gotta- yeah.
you may end up pushing out of your top 5.
But I'm still leaving.
it's-
I'm leaving Beverly Hills Cop in
it's
there.
more impressive than
Yeah.
you give it credit for. Yeah, because you got good point about your stand-ups too.
Yep.
If you put those as the movies,
Yep.
yeah. Someone said, "Shit, yeah, Harlem Nights." I'm with it. Vampire in Brooklyn. You got to be
Oh,
an
my
Eddie
God.
Murphy fan. It's a terrible movie.
Hey, that's what
but
your boy-
it's got some classic lines in it. He's just acting a fool. It's great.
That's your boy Nasty Nate.
Oh.
Nathan Batcher. He said, "Man, I love me some Vampire in Brooklyn." I'm like,
Vampire-
"Huh?"
Yeah, if you're an Eddie Murphy fan, it's like a
Yeah.
cult classic for Eddie Murphy fans. It is
Yeah.
really good because he gets into the different. He's got three different characters he's playing in the
No
movie
doubt.
too,
No doubt.
which is really fun. Anyway, all right, so there you go. I love that. We can get to some Eddie Murphy conversation
That's right.
on the show later on. All right, let's talk about big money.
Come on,
because
bring them
Aaron
dollar
Judge-
bills, y'all.
Yeah, man, he signed a contract that is I believe now it's considered the third largest contract in Major League Baseball history overall.
Yep.
It's behind Mike Trout's 12-year, $426.5 million contract, Mookie Betts' 12-year, $365 million contract, but his $9,360 million contract, it does stand out, and it gives him the highest average annual salary for any position player in the history of Major League Baseball.
No doubt. No doubt. And to break it down even further, he will earn $40 million a year or $109,589
Wee!
per day. Per day. For the decade.
I love that kind of.
For the decade.
I love those kind of
Yeah, those
money
stats that
stats.
just-
Those kind of
yeah,
money
they
stats.
That's
just
that
jump
one
out
when we
to you.
look at the end, you'd be like, well, every time he swung a bat, he made
Yeah,
X amount
exactly.
of dollars.
Exactly.
Every
No.
time he took a deep breath, he got more money.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, no, I really do like those. I don't know why I like those stats,
Yeah.
but they are pretty cool. But you get into it, and this is, You go look the last deal they offered him because he bet on himself.
Yeah, for sure.
Give the man a lot of
That's
credit. Bet on himself.
exactly right.
Last deal they offered him was a 7-year, $213 million deal. You're talking about a massive difference, and he earned it because he ends up hitting 311,
second
31
in
RBIs.
Yeah, second in the batting average, first in home run, first in RBIs.
Yeah, man.
He also scored a ton of runs.
133, I think.
Yeah, and played a great outfield. I mean, he did certain things. He had 111 walks, and he even stole 16 bases.
Man, that goes under. That's an underrated stat, actually.
Because I
For
keep
a man of
talking
his
about
size,
it. Right.
For a man of his, because what is he, 280?
6'9", 275.
Yeah, dude. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
For a dude like that to be stealing bases,
Yes.
that's a pretty wild stat, actually. I
And
did not
playing
know
a
that.
great outfield, too. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
he's got a
pretty wild.
cannon in the outfield. He does well. I mean,
Dude's a freak. He's old, though,
yes, he is.
for a guy signing a deal like this,
But
right? This
is he now? Because look
that's
at
a good-
baseball.
Well, that's a good point because A-Rod's okay. Basically, if you look at guys 30+ years or older, it's the biggest deal for somebody that old or older than that. A-Rod, I think previously was the only player 30+ years older that signed a deal $275 million or more.
Yep.
Miguel Cabrera got into that
He
category.
got that paper, too.
Pujols and Robinson Cano also in that category, but. Hey man, Aaron Judge. And
he didn't go to the Angels, and where he would have went over there and just disappeared
Well,
like Albert Pujols.
The rumor was that he was going to go to the San Francisco Giants, and that was
Well, we talked about it yesterday,
Yeah.
right before we came off of a break. John
Yeah.
Heyman, I was
Oh.
like, wait a minute. And Patrick was like, hold up. He had to go back and retract his tweet, so we went back. But just to put it in perspective, the Giants almost got this happen to them. So he almost went to the Giants. It would have been, if they would have been able to grab Judge, it would have been 30 years and one day to the day that Barry Bonds went there after playing for the Pirates.
Oh, that's crazy.
They would have got
Oh.
another big-time outfielder to come to the Bay at the same time after an MVP season. So that was big. And I love the fact of what you said, too, Rod, that he bet on himself. He turned it down. They went to arbitration. That's where you find out how bad you are because they don't like you. And then all of a sudden, they're like, all right, we probably should have gave you a better offer. So we're going to give you 11 years, and we're going to pay you all this ridiculous amount of money. But look, I mean, it was good for him to stay in the Yankee uniform for his legacy.
Yep.
Because if you're a Yankee, you're putting yourself in the top of the echelon when it comes to people in baseball. You just went out there and put up big numbers. You beat Roger Maris by one home run to become the home run leader for the Yankees, and you went out there and you won the MVP as well. So, and was .005 away from becoming the batting champion.
Yeah. No, you're right about
Now,
that.
this
You
is
earned the
what
money.
would have been impressive. He could have had the Yankees record and the Giants record. It could have been Barry Bonds and the
I don't
Giants.
think he would have been able to do that.
That
no.
would have been hard.
He was 72. Because I'm going
But-
to do something in the Hard Knocks life that'll make you understand. I don't know if anybody's going to ever catch that 70.
I don't think so either. But he could chase
Well, a
that.
little help you could.
Yeah. With a little help, you could.
Well, a little help you could.
That's what
Yeah.
you said. That's a guy who says hiding behind the locker.
Yeah.
Oh, you just need a little help.
No doubt.
A little help. Need some cream and some clear. That's all. You be good. All right. Since we're having discussion about Eddie Murphy, all right, pulled up his IMDb. All right, since we're the midweek movie music is about Beverly Hills Cop. It's Beverly Hills Cop, right?
Yes, Beverly Hills
Cop. That came out how many years ago today?
38.
30. And man, I feel old.
Yeah.
That's great. I remember like as a child. Probably seeing it on VHS somewhere on cable somewhere, and as an Eddie Murphy fan,
Yeah.
a young Eddie Murphy fan. All right, so here I want to figure out if Beverly Hills Cop is in the top 5.
Okay.
So is Beverly Hills Cop better? Basically, are these movies better than Beverly Hills Cop? So here we go. 48 Hours.
They're in the top 5. That's cool.
Trading
48
Places.
Yep.
All right, that's 2.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Golden Child.
I know a lot of people
I
keep
like
saying
Golden
don't
Child,
I do
though.
too, but
I want the knife. I like Golden Child, but no, I don't. I'm with you. I don't think it deserves to be in the top 5 necessarily. Coming to America? Yes.
Yes.
I mean, that's no question.
I mean, think about all the think about all the roles he played.
Nah, it's unbelievable. Yeah, and give Arsenio Hall some props to that too. I love that.
No doubt.
All right, you brought up. You thought the Raw. Should we consider the stand-ups?
Well, because it ended
Or
up
do you
being
wanna
in the
take
movie.
those? I know, but you still want to do those? I mean, it's up
We
to you.
can leave them off. We can leave them on.
It's up to you.
Harlem Nights.
Harlem Nights.
Yeah, for sure.
You say, is it better than Beverly Hills Cop in your opinion? It does have a
It's
lot
got
of legendary
carry.
comedians. You're talking about Richard Pryor.
All right, I'm pushing Beverly
Red
Hills Cop
Fox.
out because I completely forgot about Life.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's why I threw out the question.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
I'll push it
now
to
we
number
got,
6.
So now we got 4 in it that's better than Harlem Nights, and now you saying Life is better.
Yeah, I like Life.
Honestly, Boomerang is underrated. Boomerang is very underrated, man.
But
it is. It's not top 5, but I'm just saying it's underrated.
it's another one of those movies like we've been talking about where there's so many extra characters in there.
Oh, Martin Lawrence
yeah,
is in
but that's
it.
what I'm saying. Like you're sitting there,
man, it's great.
John Witherspoon. You got to
Witherspoon's
coordinate.
in it. Yeah,
Bang, bang.
Holly Berry's
Holly
in it.
Berry love should have
Robin
brought your ass
Givens
home
in it.
last night.
Man, I watch
You know
that
what
all
I'm
the
saying?
time. Nutty Professor.
Yeah, I don't put that better than Beverly Hills Cop.
No, I don't
It's
either.
in the top 5 though.
No.
No, I don't put it in the top
No.
5. Eric Rains texts me. He likes Nutty Professor. It's
I
not,
like
it's not
that.
my
People
top
love
5.
Nutty Professor. I bet if you go look at like money made, like revenue, I bet
yeah.
Nutty Professor's way up there for his characters because kids love it.
No,
Kids.
I think it's it's good, but
I bet it's up there. Do we think Beverly Hills Cop is better than the original? The second one?
I think the original one is the best one.
Is the standard?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You said Life is in the top 5. What about you, Patrick? You like Life in the top 5? I think Life. I will say that Life.
Come on, Claude. Come on, Claude.
It's classic, but I do think you could probably argue 5 better Eddie Murphy movies in Life.
Yeah.
You probably could. I think you really could argue that. After that, what about Shrek? Did we consider his character the donkey in this? Because if we're talking about revenue,
Donkey, yeah.
Shrek
Because
is,
again, you
Shrek's
said it for
probably at the
kids.
top of the list.
Because you said
Yeah.
it again
Oh,
for kids.
Yeah.
dude, that's
Yeah.
what. I'm just throwing it out there.
I've still put Coming to America and Trading Places up there pretty high.
Yeah.
But that's just like there's also this point of nostalgia of
48
like movies I
hours,
watch
man.
at certain
Yeah.
points.
No, I'm with you. And then he jumps into like the kid-friendly films. He does Dr. Dolittle, which
Yep.
not really not my thing, not my speed. Daddy Daycare, which is underrated actually. It's not bad. And then he starts to get more serious. You got Dream Girls, where he jumped into and tried to get into some more serious roles, and I think he's still trying to continue that. So,
Well, I loved him. I
Y'all
loved
didn't
him
put
on the
Norbit.
PJs.
Y'all didn't put Norbit in your top 5?
Oh, Norbit is so bad. Which is the worst Eddie Murphy films? That would be Bowfinger. That's among the worst ones.
Yeah.
Coming to America 2 is the worst Eddie Murphy film. It's probably worse than all of them.
By far.
By far. It is
By
horrible.
You haven't seen the Beverly Hills Cop Axel Foley.
Oh,
That is,
I actually have seen the one where they go to the amusement park.
oh no, this is a new one.
Oh, no.
That's what I'm saying. They're making a new one. It's
I can't
it's
believe
one of
it.
the writers from Justice League.
Oh, it's going to be bad.
So it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be as much of a comedy.
Terrible.
Oh man,
That's gonna be
I
bad.
No,
can't
yeah,
do
Beverly
that.
Hills Cop 3 was the one with the amusement park,
I
right?
think you're right about that. Yeah, I watched all of them, but you know what? I think I laughed out loud like once or twice though in that one. It's like 1 or 2 really good parts, but it's Eddie Murphy. I mean,
Yeah.
he's one of the all-time greats. Is he okay? You know, we'll have the conversation later. Let's go to the flex coming up next right here on Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Baby. Should I talk about Bud Light? It is hump day, and the best thing to get you over the hill, headed downhill to the weekend of the week is Bud Light. That's the way I do it. When I go home, when I decompress after a long, hard day, I got to get a nice, ice-cold Bud Light. And for you, it doesn't matter what the occasion. That's why Bud Light is the #1 light beer in the world. The #1 light beer in America is because it fits any and every occasion. Doesn't matter what it is. It can be you hanging out with friends and family, barbecuing in the backyard. Maybe you're out in the town enjoying happy hour, enjoying the Austin nightlife, whatever you're doing. Maybe it's those football festivities. There's nothing better than enjoying America's favorite game and America's favorite beer. That is a championship tag team, football and Bud Light. As a matter of fact, speaking of football and Bud Light now the official domestic beer sponsor of the University of Texas, Texas Exes, lifetime Longhorns like myself, and the Red River Showdown. So now when you're cheering on your favorite team, my favorite team too, and you can enjoy it by also displaying your burnt orange pride and enjoying your favorite beer, which is Bud Light. That is a great tag team. Bud Light, brewed right here deep in the heart of Texas since 1982 by Texans for Texans, and proud of it. All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is midweek movie music edition of Ball Don't Lie, and my man Patrick has chosen Beverly Hills Cop. Yes, Beverly Hills Cop, the original Beverly Hills Cop. I believe there are multiple
There are.
sequels since then that don't live up to it. But that is the soundtrack that we are jamming today. And, yeah, it feels very 80s, sounds very 80s. Harj actually got it first guess.
Soon as that beat hit, I knew
So
it.
he already knew. So give it up to my man.
Yeah,
Harge,
I
he
thought
knew.
you'd definitely get it with Shalimar here.
Yeah. Hey, give
It's
it up,
right in my
man.
wheelhouse.
No question. Most of our All Flex finalists probably haven't think they've even seen Beverly Hills Cop.
No.
Think
Their
any
parents have.
What percentage of our All Flex finalists? We're talking about 70 some kids have seen Beverly Hills Cop.
I think their favorite movie is Shrek. I think that's their favorite Eddie
would-
Murphy movie.
that
That's
would
what that
be
was.
it.
That
That would be
one
it.
Eddie Murphy
Yeah, I
explosion
think it's gonna
was
be Shrek.
Oh, yeah, you're probably right about that. You're right.
Donkey.
That's what they know Eddie Murphy for, unfortunately. All right, we did
Or Nutty Professor.
Maybe that still came out before.
That's a little early.
That's
That's like
90s.
when Robbie was in
96.
college.
That's
96.
90, yeah.
96.
Yeah, that's like Rod B. That's Rod B's prime.
Yeah.
That ain't no. That,
Yeah.
it's a little early for these kids. It's a little early for these youngsters, man. Okay, let's get to the All Flex finalists. Go to flxatx.com. Congratulations to all of the finalists who were announced yesterday at every different position. Harge, any position that you saw yesterday among the finalists that stood out to you? The quarterbacks, for those who missed it, go check it out, flxatx.com. Austin Novosad, Dripping Springs, Will Hammond of Hutto, Braden Buchanan of Vandergrift. You have, Bowen Staub?
Yep.
From Lago Vista. And Cody Stover.
Yep.
Cody Stover.
From Wimberley.
Wimberley, yes.
Yeah.
Those are your quarterbacks.
I mean, the one position that we've all talked about was the running back position. The wide receiver position can go either way, but running back, there's just so many good running backs in the Central Texas area
Yeah.
that it's just really difficult to say this one's better than this one and we can move this way or he meant this to his team. It's kind of like the Heisman Trophy ballot, right? You have so many different cases that you have to bring to the table to be able to say this kid is better. He's used in his offense a little bit different than this guy is used in their offense, but the numbers say that. So it's just one of those things. And coming up with this list, I mean, like we said yesterday, and we're going to continue to talk about, it was tough. It was tough because there is so much talent in this area. And going up to the 254, going all the way down to the Wimberley area, Dale Valley. People were wondering where the Dale Valley kids were. I mean, it's just so much.
It's a big area.
It's a big area
that continues to grow,
Right.
and get more competitive,
And more kids are moving into the area.
And you got more and more quality football programs
Yeah,
too. The
yeah.
running backs you're talking about: Cedric Alexander, of course, from LBJ, the record setter; Andrew Petter out of Georgetown, and Quentin Joyner.
Yep.
Out of Manor.
USC.
Jack Kaiser, Westlake.
The man.
Yeah. Rashawn Sanford, the second. He is out of
Harker Heights.
Harker Heights. Sorry, excuse me. Harker
K-Town.
Heights. DJ McClellan.
Yep. Out of Granger.
Out of Granger.
Yeah.
Those are the running backs, and it will only be 2 of those, I believe.
Yep,
Correct?
yep.
That will make the all flex team. So best luck to those. And I think one of the really controversial topics we talked about yesterday was that the running backs did not include someone who ended up as one of our return specialists, Cameron Cook.
Yep. Cameron Cook. Yeah.
Yeah, out of Stony Point. So
Yeah.
he,
That was probably one of the most heated conversations. We had some with the wide receivers. We had some with the DBs. There was just so many different ways to break down the paperwork. And one of the things that you and I were talking about is coaches, y'all need to send it in. You make
Hey,
sure
man.
if you want your kids on these things,
lobby for your
lobby
guy.
for your kids, man.
It'd be nice. I bring
I know
up
you're
that.
busy. I know
No,
you're busy.
I know they are busy, but we got a great email from the coaches over at Elgin about Justin Strong and some of his accomplishments, and it's kind of mind blowing.
yeah,
And district
on both sides of the ball.
District Defensive Player of the Year, first team All District wide receiver as well. But defensively, 113 tackles, 11 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 3 quarterback pressures, 4 picks, 2 for touchdowns, 14 PPUs, 3 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery. Most of the stuff we get, we're trying to piecemeal from credible sources about stats and stuff like that. But when you
Yep.
get it from a coach, it does help.
It does help you a lot.
does help you 'cause,
you're voting for your kids to be all district. You're voting for your kids to be all state.
Yeah,
You're
it
doing the
helps.
same thing.
It helps us out a
You
lot. So I mean, that was a strong, no pun intended, email on to advocate for Justin
I
Strong
like that.
of
I like
Elgin,
that.
who he had a hell of a year. So yeah, that kind of stuff helps. So please do respond to the emails that we send out, or hit us up at flxatx.com. Go to the contact page there and lobby for your guy. Fans can do it too, by the way.
Yep,
You're
they
fans
sure
of the high
can.
school. You've been keeping up
That's
with
right.
it. You've been keeping up with their stats. You can send us stuff about our flex finalists to help push them over the edge, become the selections for our all flex team, our first all flex team, which will be announced later next week, actually.
No doubt.
Tonight, speaking of,
That's right.
at the Waterloo Ice House on 360-2222 right now, actually.
Yeah, they're there. The Flex is
already
there.
The Flex crew is already
That's
there.
right.
As a matter of fact, we're going to bring on, during the 5 to 7 hours, going to bring on Snoop and a couple of members of the Flex crew who are out at Waterloo Ice House right now. They're giving out certificates. They're actually giving out awards to the Flex finalists
Correct.
who actually decided they had some time to show up. So we appreciate everybody that wants to show up, but we're going out there. I'm going out there, actually,
Exactly.
after the show. They're going to be out there till 9. They're going to have a live broadcast from 7 to 9.
That's right.
But before that, 3 basically till 7, they're going to be engaging with all of the Flex finalists, coaches, and families. So head on out, Waterloo Ice House, 360 and 2222. They're going to be out there essentially all day, all night.
That's right.
Recognizing the all Flex finalists. So congrats to all those guys. All right, we'll come back. We'll get into Cowboys-Texans preview because that's the matchup this week. Cowboys made an acquisition on defense side of the ball. John Robinson fired from the Tennessee Titans. Baker Mayfield claimed off waivers. NFL news, notes, and nuggets right here on Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here, and I got to tell you, every time I start thinking about my friends over at Steiner Ranch Steakhouse, just makes me hungry, truth be told. I start thinking about Steiner Ranch Steakhouse and the great Steiner Ranch Steakhouse experience, where they brought that to their Tex-Mex experience as well with Vaqueros Cafe and Cantina, still in the Steiner Ranch Steakhouse family, but now you have the exceptional style and impeccable standards of Steiner Ranch Steakhouse with that hacienda hospitality. A little Tex-Mex twist, if you will, and we've been enjoying it over here in Westlake off of 360 of the Vaqueros Cafe and Cantina. My favorite Tex-Mex, best fajitas in Central Texas. Well, now they have a new location open on Quinlan Park Road there in Steiner Ranch. Yes, it's in the Steiner Ranch family, so it only makes sense to have the best Tex-Mex in the ATX. Also now available in Steiner Ranch at their new location off of Quinlan Park Road. It's now open, and folks have been raving about my friends over at Vaqueros for years now. You've heard me talking about it. It's my favorite Tex-Mex. I probably eat there at least once a week. I'd eat there more if my wife let me, but hey, man, that's the way it is. I don't make all the decisions, but I love their Tex-Mex. I love the fajitas. They're fantastic. I love the frozen drinks as well. Even local Austinites like Eric say they love the shrimp nachos, and OMG, they love the grilled oysters. They're amazing. Legit Tex-Mex with generous portions at reasonable prices. And if you have office events, corporate functions, wedding receptions, family gatherings, whatever it may be, they can also cater all of your special events. All you got to do is go to vaqueroscafe.com. That's vaqueroscafe.com to find out more about their catering services as well. Remember, Vaqueros Cafe and Cantina isn't just Tex-Mex, it's an experience. So experience it for yourself at Vaqueros Cafe and Cantina, the new location open right off Quinlan Park Road in Steiner Ranch. Now, if you'd have played this, everybody would have got midweek movie music.
I put it song 3.
yeah.
I was like, if you didn't get it, this is always how long I give it to you until the third song. So if you hadn't got it, you would get it from this.
Well done. Well done. You got one that was obvious, but not too obvious, because Harge got it immediately. He was like, oh, I know what this is. He heard like 20, I don't know if he's heard 20 seconds. This is like 10 seconds of it.
Right.
And he was like, I got it. I know what it is. So I think you did a good job. But this is actually considered, if not officially, then unofficially, it is the theme of Beverly Hills. The da-na-na-na-na-na. Yeah. And strangely enough, he's got, because back then all movies had like an actual focused soundtrack that had some songs that ended up being theme songs for them. Like you can play some music from some movies from the 80s and people would go, oh, I know exactly what that is.
Yeah.
That's from this soundtrack. It's from that movie. You don't really have that as much anymore.
No. But I will say there's a great SNL sketch from a while ago with Ben Stiller and Will Ferrell about this song. And it gets really weird, but it's hilarious. Just look up SNL, the H is O.
Okay.
The H is O.
The H is O. All right, there you go. All right, my man Patrick always did a great job. Midweek movie music edition. Ball don't lie. Playing jams that inspired my man Patrick from a movie that he decides to play the songs from that soundtrack, and then we're supposed to guess exactly what the movie was that inspired midweek movie music. And this week it is Beverly Hills Cop from Eddie Murphy. Okay, how about this? We're having an Eddie Murphy discussion earlier. I guess we're gonna be having Eddie Murphy discussions all day. And that's fine.
I love it.
We'll talk Cowboys Texans here, since we can just squeeze in 2 previews in one, saves us some time. Then Cowboys made acquisition, which Harge recommended yesterday, so shout out to you. And then talk about the John Robinson firing, guys. This is very strange, very weird.
Timing of it all.
Yeah, Tennessee Titans decided to move on. And Baker Mayfield being claimed off waivers broke yesterday. We didn't get a chance to break it down because we had a truncated edition, abbreviated show. So we'll get into that coming up and talk about these Central Texas products and getting another shot with the Rams, what that means for his career. All right, Eddie, random question about Eddie Murphy. Is he considered to be top 10 all-time stand-up comedians? Is he in that conversation? Or is he a top 20 guy?
Well, it depends on what you like to. What would you consider it? Because there's different.
As a stand-up, just purely stand-up, not even comedian, not comedic actor. I'm talking about stand-up,
So-
which I think is the toughest thing to do in entertainment. I don't think there's anything tougher than going in front of a group of people who expects you to make them laugh, and then you having to do it.
Yeah, and I've
It's
talked
tough.
about doing this before, of doing like the best comedian, and it always comes down to comedy or comedy special. And it's hard when you do comedy because, like, comedians, because you're like, well, over a 30-year career, this guy's just better because he's created more funny jokes over 30 years.
no doubt.
However, and like Eddie Murphy has 2 specials. It's like 2 specials is what you're
Thank
basing
you.
everything
Thank
on.
you.
Pretty
so
much.
Raw, I think, is up there as one of
No
the
doubt.
best specials of all time.
No question.
But I don't know if Eddie Murphy, because the work is so limited, can be in that top conversation
I agree.
with all those other guys.
He does have some others, but in terms of the ones that became iconic, I totally agree with you.
Yep.
And it reminds me a lot of. I said this before about 50 Cent. 50 Cent's like that too. 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying, is probably one of the. I don't know where you rank it hard. It's one of the greatest hip hop albums of all time. Like, it really is. But 50 as a rapper, you wouldn't rank him top 5. You might rank his album in the top 10 to 5, but you ain't gonna rank him as a rapper as top 10. But his album, he did the damn thing. You can't take it away. And some of Eddie Murphy's stand up, and by the way, he left it early. He left it. He knew. Oh man, you know, if he would have stuck with stand up, I think he'd have been. But he's like, nah, man, it's too much easy money out here. Stand up is the hard way to make money. I'm gonna go make this easy money over here as being a comedic actor. And so he just left the art form very quickly.
Yeah.
So I think he was a prodigy in the art form,
For sure.
but he left it really quickly. Dave Chappelle comes back to it. Dave Chappelle won't leave it.
Yeah.
He's coming.
Chris Rock comes back to it. Kevin Hart, all those guys come back
you know what I mean?
to
They
it.
always keep coming back to it.
Bill Burr,
Bill
guys
Burr's
like that.
But no,
Eddie
he
Murphy
did
left it and never really came back.
he
to
did
it.
like the
Decided,
Steve
I'm
Martin.
done with it.
Steve Martin did stand up for a while, and
It was like,
then
yeah,
and then it was off. He's like, I'll do movies, I'll do
done.
shows, but I ain't doing that no more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's some guys, they're in love with that art form and like, I'm always come back to it. And some guys like, no, man, that was hard.
Well,
that was hard work.
that's what I was about to
Dude,
say.
let me go
Yeah.
get this easy money over here,
Yeah.
make people laugh through,
Because I'm gonna still have my jokes. I'm gonna
Yeah.
still be able to throw them in there with my
So,
little quirks and
that's what-
my
yeah.
quips, where I can joke. We can ad lib during the movies, and I don't have to do it on stage. Like, I appreciate what Dave Chappelle can do. I really appreciate what Dave Chappelle can do. That's why I consider him one of the best to ever do it. Because
Carlin's
that's what
like
he did.
that. Like they never left the art form. You don't stand up. You got to
Yeah.
stay. You got to stick in it, man. You
gotta
tried
show
this,
up at a
Patrick.
bar.
You try this. It's got to be your life. You got to.
Oh no, it's you have to because
It becomes your life.
Yeah, it's
You can't just do it half the time.
No,
Like,
no.
I'm like,
If you're like, hey, man, I'm gonna get on stage like once a week, it's not even enough.
No.
And you're saying that's a lot to
Yeah.
do, but you're like, even if you're like, I'm gonna get on stage once a week.
Yep.
You're still not like, okay, it's not muscle memory enough in my brain of all these jokes,
Yeah.
and I get the timing just right because I got a line out. You know, am I getting the laugh here? But if I say it a second earlier, is the laugh better? Or just that throughout is.
That's why Steve Harvey still goes on tour. That's why some of these guys still go on tour because of the fact that they have to stay sharp.
Oh, you gotta stay
to
sharp
be
on that, man.
that.
Yeah,
you
you
know,
lose it.
Cedric the Entertainer. That's why they did the Kings of Comedy. Bernie Mac was one of the coldest to ever do it.
Yeah.
Got cut short. You know what I'm saying? Eddie Griffin is funny. He is funny, but he's he's one of those method actors though. Not method. He likes to move around a lot on stage. He doesn't go up there and deliver the joke.
He's a
physical comedian. Yeah.
But no, I'm just like I think Eddie Murphy's great. He's awesome, but I do want to distinguish stand-up Eddie.
Yeah.
Because people are like, oh, he's on the greatest comedians. Actually, if he's stand-up comedian, different from comedic actor. That's all. But I think it's because he left. He decided I'm done with it. That's more so than him not having the ability to become a GOAT and stand up. It's because he was like, nah, I'm done with that.
I'm about to go make all this
I'm about
money
to go, and he
elsewhere.
did. And he went, made a ton of money, and that's the way he did it. All right, sorry about that. Let's get
No,
back.
that was good. No, that was
all right.
sometimes we need those.
No, I like stand up. I'm
a stand-up guy.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite form of entertainment to go watch live.
Yep.
Some
I'm
people
with
are
you.
live music capital people. I'm a live comedian guy. I want to go see live comics. All right, let's get to the Cowboys because ain't nothing funny about what the Cowboys are doing, and ain't nothing funny about what they're gonna do to the Texans. How about this, Harch? Because you're a man who put your money where your mouth is. Cowboys favorite over the Texans by 17 points. I haven't looked at the line today.
I'm staying away from it, but that's a huge number,
The
man.
the Texans have only lost by more than 17 once this year. I think it was week 7.
Right.
As a Texas fan, if I'm not mistaken.
They find a way to get on your nerves. That's what I'd say. And the Texans, they're coming back with Davis Mills. We talked about this yesterday. Are they going to be able to start him? Yes, Lovie Smith came out today and said Davis Mills will be our starting quarterback today. So, I mean,
Just keep going back and forth.
well, I mean, why not? You're
he-
still tanking.
He had stated that he thinks the 2 weeks watching it from the sideline will really help him.
So the line right now
I
is
didn't make that line up,
16.
Rod. That's really what he said.
So the line right now for the Dallas Cowboys versus the Houston Texans is 16, and the over/under is 45.5.
Oh,
But if you took the money line for the Cowboys,
honestly, right now,
it's a
considering-
$1,400 bet.
Think about this. What they did to the Vikings,
Yes,
right? They beat the Vikings. I mean, they beat them like they
40-3
stole something.
or something like that, right?
Blew 'em. It was the worst.
Yep.
It was on the road.
Yep, it was on the
It
road.
was the
too.
worst Vikings home loss I
Mm-hmm.
think they've had since you had to go back to like the 60s or something like that. It's
Mm-hmm.
really bad. And they also had not a bad game. I take that back. They played an average game versus the Colts for 3 quarters
Mm-hmm.
and then scored 33 points, outscored the Colts by 33 points in the fourth quarter to blow them out, which ended up tying an NFL record. You got to go back to you got to go back to like the 1920s. Since a team outscored another team in the NFL by 33 points.
Yeah.
They do have the ability to separate quickly. And it's because it's a well-rounded formula to win. You said they were scoring on defense, and the defense were providing easy scoring opportunities for the offense. That's what I worry about the Texans. And I've said it before, the Texans, and I'll give you the stat. It's a sad stat. Last 3 games, the Texans have scored 39 points, but they've allowed 35 points off of interception returns for touchdowns, fumble recoveries for touchdowns, and kick returns for touchdowns. 3 defensive touchdowns in each of the last 3 games they've allowed. Something tells me, I don't know if that's a bet you can make somewhere. I'd probably make the bet the Cowboys defense might score versus the Texans. Sounds like it might have. The Texans, they've allowed everybody to
Davis
do it.
Mills is starting. So,
Yeah.
yes, the Cowboys will score some defensive points.
Come on, man.
I picked them up this week because they're playing the Texans.
You should. That's great.
The shop job lives on,
the
man.
job still lives, man.
No, don't bring that up. Oh, come on. How you gonna bring that up, Patrick?
They made a sandwich after it. Pick six.
Oh man,
They made the pick
I
six.
think he might
against-
have still have the record or something. It was
Yeah.
bad. He had like 4 of them in a season, which was terrible. But yeah, the Browns. Remember they scored 27 points, but it was the fourth most by a team in NFL history. Sorry, in Super Bowl history in the Super Bowl era for a team without an offensive touchdown. So I think the Cowboys are going to run away with it. Do they cover the number of 17? Texans have only lost by more than 17 once this year. That's it.
Yeah.
So that's a big number. Man, that's not a big number. That is a gargantuan number in the NFL.
Yeah, because you figure even garbage minutes, you're going to be up 24, and they can pop in and score a touchdown on you and get you back.
And you're
Exactly.
missing your starting corner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's going to be
Yep.
out. Anthony Brown's going to be out. They're still trying to figure out. Okay, so who's going to start? Is it going to be Deron Bland, Nashawn Wright, or Kelvin Joseph at the corner opposite?
It's
Trevon
going to be
Diggs?
Bland, I would think.
It's
I
Bland?
think it should be Bland.
Okay.
That would be the person that I would go with just because he's the one that's been making plays.
He was the highest. Pro Football
Yes.
Focus had him as the highest graded defender in Week 13 last week.
Yeah.
At 94.3. He had 2 receptions allowed on 7 targets, 2 picks, only 9 yards allowed, 1 PBU, and 1 coverage stop.
Yeah.
The man was balling.
Yeah.
No other way to describe it.
That's the only way you can give it to him. We've been waiting for it, right? We've been
5th
wanting
round pick, right?
out of Fresno State. Yeah.
Man.
Went out there and balled. And remember, we were talking about him at the very beginning of the season
Yep.
as possibly being somebody that's going to make the team, and boom, there it is. And so that's why he's been able to show up and do the things that was asked. But it goes back to the coaching, too. They put him in a good position, and he's gotten better each week. At the beginning of the season, there's no way you would have told me that he would have been that. Now, Joseph, on the other side, he's gotten worse, it seems like. He's got his responsibilities as a defensive back is poor technique. He's not even doing well on the special teams.
Okay, I give you a stat about Kelvin Joseph.
Oh, my
Boss
gosh.
Man Facts.
Come on.
2nd on the team in total penalties.
Okay.
With 6. And they're all varieties. They're on special teams.
Exactly, that's
they're
what I'm saying.
face
He haven't
masks,
done
some
anything
pass
on
interference.
special teams.
It's like a gumbo.
Yeah.
A little bit of everything thrown in there.
gumbo.
He just yeah, so to your point, he panics a lot out there. He looks ill-prepared.
He's not ready for
Yeah.
the job that's at hand.
Now-
So go ahead and let somebody else go out there and fail. And that way, you wasted a pick on this guy.
We're not wasted. You can see what he does later on down the line.
Come on, man.
I would
He's
say-
trying to cut albums. He's probably hanging out with AB, right?
I will say, we will say Noah Brown looked terrible for his first 2 years, dude,
Hey.
and he's looking good now.
That's why I hated on Noah Brown a
So,
lot.
so I'll say the Cowboys
did.
have shown that they can develop some talent.
We
And I
like
think
our
Dan Quinn-
guys. We like our guys.
and I will tell you this:
right about that.
if you're looking at the injury report for the Texans today,
Oh no.
Brandon Cooks did not practice. Not hugely surprising. Nico Collins also did not practice.
Limited.
So Nico Collins has been your number 1 de facto because Brandon Cooks is out, but he ain't even practicing. And Derek Stingley did not practice today either.
Yeah, they ain't looking good. Nico
No.
Collins on the season, 37 receptions, 481 yards, but versus the Browns, he did have a touchdown receiving, 3 receptions. So, yeah, that hurts. But Jalen Petrie, I'll throw this out there again. Jalen Petrie, man, having a hell of a season so far. That's one of the bright spots for the Texans, too. He had a great game, probably his best game of the season versus the Browns. He had an interception, and he had 16 tackles. He was the second rookie in Texans history to have 15-plus tackles. So watch Jalen Petrie. That's one of the bright spots for very, very few of those bright spots for the Texans. Something else to consider here. It's not a rivalry. I'm not saying it's a rivalry, Cowboys fans. So please do not text me hard. I'm not saying it's a rivalry. It's not.
I think I know where you're going
There's
with this.
not a rivalry between the
Come on.
Cowboys and the Texans. There is a rivalry between Houston and Dallas. I think we all agree with that, right? There's no rivalry
Always,
between
yeah.
the Cowboys
Always.
and
In
Texans.
every sport.
That doesn't exist. Yeah,
Baseball,
It's just
basketball,
exactly, and it goes to the cities.
soccer.
It's more about the
Yeah.
cities
Yeah, yeah,
disliking
yeah.
each other and their cultures more so than the sports. But I would say Dallas has the edge in sports. They do. I mean, their sports are better than Houston sports.
Yeah, when's the last time?
Other
When's
than
the
the
last?
Astros, go Astros.
Because like I grew up and grew up because my mom's from Houston, so I grew up a Houston fan.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's not been many times where Dallas and Houston are good at the same time at any sport.
No, it almost happened with the Oilers and the Cowboys. Actually,
Yeah.
Remember, it was actually doing
That's to
Buddy
tell you how
Ryan,
long ago it was.
those Buddy Ryan years, the Kevin
Yeah.
Gilbride stuff when
Yep,
the
yep.
Kansas City Chiefs ended up beating the Oilers in the playoffs. I think it was the second round of the playoffs. If I'm not
And
mistaken.
they were fighting on the sideline.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was those because those are separate years, I believe. 'Cause
yep.
they lost to the Bills one year. That was the epic meltdown. We all remember that. Lost
Yep.
to Frank Reich when he was the backup quarterback, and then they lost to Kansas City and Joe
Montana.
Montana.
Yeah.
And Marcus Allen, I think, was on
Number
that team. They lost to
19.
them.
Yeah.
And that, if I'm not mistaken, those were years where the Cowboys made runs, if not won Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there
So
was,
they
there
were-
was
if
but
those
that
were the
also
years.
that goes back a while. That's what I'm saying is I
Yeah.
think most recently you probably had a couple of crossover years of like
Yeah. And
where
that's-
the Rockets were competing and the Mavs were good.
Yeah.
You probably
There's
had a
some
few
of
of
that.
those years, but even then, San Antonio was probably the better team
Yeah,
out of
and
all
then
of
the
them.
Rangers and the Astros were never good at the same time.
No,
That's-
and they
that-
haven't
that's
been in
never
the same
happened.
division that long either.
Yeah.
And since they've both been in the same division, or
It hadn't even been
It-
close.
yeah, it hasn't
Hadn't
been
been
close.
close.
So-
So it's about the cities. I think Houston has better food and better music than Dallas. And I think goes without saying. Beyonce is from H-Town, okay? All right. Scarface from H-Town, Ghetto Boy. Who's a Dallas artist that y'all claim? Who's a great
Who's
Dallas
y'all? Who's
musical
y'all? Don't
artist?
put me in there.
Don't put me
Don't
down.
be put me in there.
Hey, he's 254.
Yeah, hey, that ain't 817,
I'm
dog.
just saying, you're a Cowboys fan, though.
214.
So
Yeah,
the Robert from a Houstonian, all
Yeah.
right, and Patrick knows this too because if Mom's from there,
on.
you already know it.
Yeah.
There is a dislike of the two cities between each other. I always say Houston doesn't like Dallas. Dallas doesn't like Houston. San Antonio feels disrespected by both.
Yeah.
And then Austin is loved by all. All right,
Are
Houston-
they?
Yeah, everybody's a little envious, and they do. They either they love it or they hate on Austin. They
That's
do,
what I was
trust
gonna
me.
say. There's
They
an
hate
in
on it.
between,
They
yeah.
can hate on it, but they
Yeah.
know, hey man, you hating on it because it's the
Yeah.
it city right now. You
Yeah.
know it is. Everybody knows it is. You can say what you want. It is.
I
I'm
got
a
you.
Houstonian. I'm telling you that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've known more people that have moved from Houston and Dallas to Austin, and people
Exactly.
from Austin that have moved to Houston and Dallas.
Come on now. I totally agree. But I love H-Town. I'm a big fan. Post Malone is from Dallas. There you go. Vanilla Ice. No, yeah. Post Malone and Vanilla
That's your
Ice.
number two?
No, I'm not hating on it. Dallas has better sports. I think Houston has better food overall, and I think Houston has better like just music culture overall. Like Screw originated in H-Town. You know what I mean? We got-
And no one in Texas has any good roads.
yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that. Yeah, and
No,
the traffic in
I'm
both
driven,
of them is
I'm driven in
terrible.
all these cities, and
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
of them are garbage.
I think the genesis of the rivalry, honestly, between Houston and Dallas, I think it all goes back to the Dallas TV show. I'm not
Yeah.
joking. I think it goes back to J.R. Ewing in the Dallas TV show because that's when Dallas folks started losing their mind and they all thought they were, they got the big head.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's when Dallas got Hasidity. Y'all know y'all did. It was when the Dallas TV show became the biggest show in America, and then everybody remembers the theme song and all that, and that's when all these J.R. Ewing Cowboys started popping up around Dallas.
Everybody
all
got their
with
cowboy
with their
hat
suits on
and
the
their cowboy hats.
on.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And then there was
That's right.
and then everybody had their different types of cowboys. The Houston Cowboy was the urban rodeo cowboy. Had jeans on, you know what I mean?
John
And-
Travolta was your
it
representation.
well, no, it was like a rodeo. It was the biggest rodeo. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
in H-Town, so it was a rodeo
Yeah.
cowboy. They were the J.R. Ewing Cowboys. You had the Vaqueros from San Antonio, Austin. You had just a bunch of hippie cowboys. Y'all don't even know what y'all don't even wear cowboy hats.
Hey, man.
Yeah, I'll give Erica Badu is Dallas.
That's
Give
right.
Erica Badu.
Oh, I'll give America Badu.
Yeah,
There you
give
go.
him
That's
Hey,
shout
what
out.
about Yellow Beezy?
Oh, yeah,
And,
Pantera.
and DOC.
Hey, we got Pantera.
That's Dallas Oak Cliff.
Okay.
Pantera
Yeah.
was a great hard
Before
rock
he lost
band.
his voice in the
Okay.
Colorado.
It's,
You know what I'm
you guys
saying?
it's all right. We're reaching, but it's
Yeah.
okay. But I think we can
We're
agree that it's still
reaching.
H-Town.
We're
No, I'm not.
reaching.
I'm disagreeing, but I'm just saying I think we can agree that H-Town's a better culture for music. That's okay.
Come
It's all
on,
good.
man.
But I chose Austin, so hey,
Yeah,
I chose Austin.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
Austin. All right, what you got coming up for the people on Hard Knock Life?
We're going to talk a little bit about this coaching carousel that is going on. And, everybody continues to hate. You talked about Deion Sanders yesterday, but there was continued conversation about Deion. But I want to bring it back full circle because, hey, man, start looking at some of these other coaches that leave quicker than everybody else.
Oh yeah, no,
know what I'm
that's a
saying?
good point. I
Yeah.
like that. That's a good point. I like getting to that conversation. All right, Dallas people hitting me up,
Yeah.
upset.
Yeah.
All right, that's how.
DJ Screw is from Smithville. Fun fact, baby. I love it. I love it.
But he came up with the art form in H-Town, okay?
Yeah.
All right? Yeah, so give Smithville your props.
That's right.
We'll be right back. This is Ball No Lie 104 Down the Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. Let me tell you about my friends over at MyBookie. We all know that right now it's a great chance for you to win big, and the best place for you to win big is over at MyBookie. At MyBookie, trust me, folks, you'll get great deals, and the best thing about MyBookie, you can get the best bang for your buck. Nobody gives you better deals than MyBookie. Head on over there right now. All you got to do, get over to MyBookie. They have the best selection of odds and prop bets and the great selection of actually ways for you to build your own prop bets. You can do that at MyBookie as well. You can stream games and live bet while you watch it, so every hit, sack, and touchdown could be another shot to put money in your pocket. We're talking about straight cash, homie. With thousands of sports books to choose from, you need a platform that's simple and easy to use. That's MyBookie. Sports betting is intense enough. You shouldn't need to sweat the payouts. Use the promo code HORN, H-O-R-N, on a deposit of $50 or more, and you can receive up to $200 in cash instantly to your MyBookie account. MyBookie has a no-strings bonus that lets you cash in and cash out quick. MyBookie has the biggest online selection of odds, prop bets, and contests to fill all of your sports betting needs anytime, anywhere. Will CeeDee Lamb have 2 touchdowns, or will Tony Pollard rush for 75 yards or more this weekend? You can build your own prop bets at MyBookie.com. It's that easy. Just use the promo code HORN, H-O-R-N, to claim your deposit bonus and give yourself the competitive edge. Bet anything, bet anytime, and bet anywhere. As long as you're betting with MyBookie, you're betting with the best.
Welcome back to a midweek movie edition of Ball Don't Lie. It's your boy Hardball Hard. You can follow me on Twitter at Hardball Hard. You can follow my man Rob Babers at Rob Babers. And you can follow the man behind the glass that comes up with our themes every single day at It's Patrick Davis. We love it when you're a part of the show and continue to do so. Hit us up on the Specs text line 512-337-3776. And our theme today is Beverly Hills Cop, but then we got on another tangent and started talking about movies that Eddie Murphy was in, and we were ranking them. And it's been kind of fun, and you start going back and reliving some of the movies that you've seen with Eddie Murphy and how he fits in and where his ranking is throughout comedy. And as an actor, he's pretty good at comedy. I mean, he understands how to deliver the punchlines. And my favorite part of movies of all times is when they have the ad-libs, when they're doing it on their own and their co-host or the person that's acting with them plays along with it. So those are some of my favorite moments in movies because you can tell when they're getting caught off guard. You know, like if you watch Kevin Hart in his movies, I think half of his movies are still all ad-libs.
No, they, now there's I don't know the style of it, but there are some shows that are Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Is one of my favorite ones, too.
But they are filmed in the very improvisational style, I should say. It's hard for me to say that. And where they basically give them the situation and circumstance, and they just tell them to freestyle.
Yeah, and I love it.
To ad-lib. And that's where they get a lot of their funny moments. And I believe Succession is filmed like that. It's not a comedy. It's more of a dark comedy. But it's filmed like that, too. So that's why I think you don't have a lot of great sequels to all-time great comedies. Most great comedies are about timing. It's about improvisation in that moment, and it's really hard to replicate that. Nobody knows that 40-Year-Old Virgin or, that's going to be a great all-time great comedy. Nobody knew that.
Nobody knew that.
Nobody knew that.
But it was hilarious.
Yeah, exactly.
It was
I don't
hilarious.
think anybody knows they're making an all-time great comedy at the time.
They didn't know Hangover was going to be that great of a movie either.
I don't think that happened. I think sometimes we were making an epic, like an epic drama. We're making an Oscar-worthy film.
Right.
Like, you're like, oh, man, we got the right pieces. We got Tom Hanks. We got a great script. This is an Oscar-worthy film. We're making it because it's a drama and it's a biopic or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
But with comedies, I don't think anybody at the time knows this is going to be an all-time great comedy. Superbad. You think they knew Superbad was going to be that iconic?
Come on, man.
They had
Chilling with McLovin,
They knew
dog.
Coming to America was going to be that iconic? No, they didn't know that. I think it happens more with dramas where they can predict and project how good it's going to be.
No
Doesn't
doubt.
happen with comedies. You have no idea.
No doubt. And I want to get into this coaching carousel and what's been going on. First and foremost, I want to give a shout-out to my guy, Jake Spavital. He has now been named offensive coordinator at Cal. He was there before with Sonny Dykes, and he's been around for quite some time when it comes to calling plays and being an offensive coordinator. Texas State just announced their head coach, G.J. Kinney. He had his introductory press conference today as well. So everybody's moving in the right direction. And I looked at this, and the story of Deion Sanders, you talked about it as well, Rod, yesterday, about how Deion and what he's going to bring economically to Colorado, how he's going to change the way the Buffaloes have been looked at. And there's been a lot of hate from all over the country about this Deion Sanders taking this job. But the funny thing about it is, you remember in 60 Minutes, when he did the interview with 60 Minutes, they asked him, Deion, you're going to probably have some Power 5 schools come after you. And Deion said, I will be a fool not to listen to them. And I don't know about you, Rod, but I've worked in different places before. Matter of fact, let's back it up. You played in the NFL, and what did they do? They walked you in, and they said, we got to go another direction. Same thing with football. I mean, as a coach, you're year to year in some places. They're trying to figure out what can you do different to get us back to a spot. Some coaches have had winning records and got fired. So coaching is not one of the long-term things. If you're in the SEC and you're an Auburn team, think about Gus Malzahn. Gus Malzahn was a winner in in the SEC. They fired him because he couldn't beat Nick Saban. There's a lot of people that got fired because they couldn't beat Nick Saban.
Mm-hmm.
And so when people are like, well, Deion jumped the line. Yeah, he probably did, but he did it on his terms, as anybody else does. I've worked in multiple companies where I had an option to better myself, and I left to do that. You know why? Because I got a family.
That's right.
I got bills to pay. I got things that I want to see accomplished. It's not that I didn't like my job. It was I got offered a better job. And I continue to grow in the business. So why would people be upset for somebody that leaves a job to better it? Because if Deion did not win at Jackson State, do you think Jackson State would have kept Deion?
No way.
They would. They changed their entire profile as a school when you start to look at those types of things. So when people start to say, well, he sold them a dream and then he left. I saw Bomani Jones talking about it yesterday, and he did say, I'm not hating on the fact, but he sold them a dream of 4 to 10 to 12 years. Don't most schools do the exact same thing? Tom Herman got fired because he didn't have a relationship with some of the people that he needed to have the relationship with. It wasn't because his team wasn't performing. They were winning.
Yep.
We went to the Sugar Bowl. Tom Herman got fired because of off-the-field situations in different entities. So let's go look at what the past couple years at Colorado has been. Since 2008.
Terrible.
They were I'm going 2008 on. 2008, they were 5-7. 2009, 3-9. 2010, 5-7. 2011, 3-10. 2012, 1-11. 2013, 4-8. 2014, 2-10.
Come on now.
2015, 4-9. Hey, 2016, 10-4. 2017, 5-7. 18, 5-7. 19, 5-7. 2020, 4-2. Remember, short year, COVID. I don't even think they even really played, really. 2021, they went 4-8, and then last year they went 1-11. And people are going to ask us, do you think Deion's going to be successful? You know, through all those times right there that when they started that to where they are now, you know what's changed? NIL. You know what else has changed? Transfer portal. You know what other opportunities have? Now you have a coach that kids want to come and play for. Yeah, it's going to be cold out there, but everybody always talk about cold weather's football weather. I never really agreed with that. But the opportunities are going to be there. Deion's not going to have the same type of players that he had at Jackson State. Oh, by the way, I think he went like 23-5 while he was coaching them and built that entire program. It's not Deion's responsibility. And just for those that want to know, I did a lot of HBCU games last year, and I talked to different coaches, and I asked them about Deion Sanders. They were upset when I asked them the question about Deion, about bringing the light. He said, we've had good players here all the time. And I was like, how many people know that, though?
Not many.
Not very many people know that because of that. The fact that he came in and brought a spotlight to the HBCUs. So Prime didn't turn his back on the HBCUs. The HBCUs should be saying, thank you, now let us try to build on what you did. And if you've ever been anywhere doing anything respectable, everybody always says, did you leave the place better than when you got it? Yes, he did. It's up to everybody else to come out there and be able to change their program. We could take Hugh Freeze, for example. Hugh Freeze is somebody that has so much baggage, and they wanted to go and get him back from Liberty to bring him back to the SEC. Why? Have no idea. Didn't want to give him an opportunity, didn't want to give Deion an opportunity. Basically, what we've seen is a bunch of retreads in our profession. And you've been in this profession for a long time, Rod. You've seen it. You've seen coaches that, why is this dude still coaching? But he's going to get another opportunity at another school for something else because they feel like I can change it.
Yep.
Let's be thankful that you're getting a chance to see someone like Prime Time, Deion Sanders, walk out there and bet on himself like we talked about with Aaron Judge, got his job, got the things that he needed, and now he's walking into an opportunity that I promise you, I don't think there is any way he can fail, because last year they went 1-11. And he's going to be able to bring in his type of players, the ones that want there. Like he's been talking about, everybody's talking about, hey, let's go check on Prime. Let's go check on Prime. Prime is going to be just fine because those kids really want to go and play for Deion Sanders. And now those ones that I was on the fence, I don't really want to go to an HBCU. I don't really want to do that. But you know what you do now? You're going to the Pac-12, you're going to Colorado, you're going to a P5 school, and you're going to get a chance to play for some people that are trying to get you to the next level. And Deion is invested in everything that he's doing out there. So when I hear the hate about that and hearing people talk about, well, he turned his back on them, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. He elevated them. He made sure that everybody got a chance to see what HBCU is all about. He sold out every place that he went. His teams sold out and played and won championships with him at the helm. Jackson State wasn't doing that prior to that. And all those other schools that were having a problem with it that I interviewed and these people were talking all this trash, I was like, bro, you've been playing in this league for a long time and you hadn't brought, I haven't had this much attention brought to you. So don't hate on that. Understand that this dude has got his opportunity like anybody else would have taken it. If they were offered a better job than where they were, better living conditions, more money, and I know sometimes it's not always about the money, but it comes down to it. It comes down to it at the end of the day. Everybody needs something, and they want something from you, but when it's time for you to reap those rewards, people want you to stay where you were. No, man, it's not about that. Everybody wants to better themselves. So I'm pulling for Deion. I think it's going to be a big move. I can go through the names. Hugh Freeze, Barry Odom. Trent Dilfer got a job at UAB, and nobody's losing their mind about it.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, Trent Dilfer just came from a private school in Nashville, and now he's the head coach.
Nobody's losing their job about Deion getting the job. It's actually people who are advocates for the HBCU community. They're losing their minds about him. Like you said, they believe he made them some type of promise and broke that promise, which is ridiculous because
he told you on 60 Minutes when that people come on there.
Every coach in the country is in this situation. It's a must-life situation. It's why nobody who has an ugly baby knows they have an ugly baby because every coach in the country is staying there forever. I'm recruiting your kid. I will be here to watch him graduate. I'll be here to watch him walk. I'm going to develop this young man, and then when somebody offers them more money, all right, and like you said, a better situation, they usually take it. That's the reality of it, but everybody's in that must-life situation. You've probably been in at your job too. It is what it is.
Right.
So I don't hold that against Deion because I don't hold it against any other coach. I'd hold it against Mac Brown or any other coach that's been in that situation because every coach I think has been in that must-lie situation.
Well, and not only that,
What
he
you gonna
probably
do?
was selling that dream, but the success brought the conversation for everybody. He probably would have stayed there. He probably could have stayed there, but success brought people to Deion Sanders, and it's like, hold on, man, what he's done.
He was never staying there.
We all know that.
Okay, that's what
Well,
I'm saying.
no,
Like,
I'm
so
saying.
he was never staying there.
But-
we know that. They should have known that too.
And I
For
think
them to
they
fall in
did.
love with that fantasy and that fairy tale that Deion was going to stay there when you were paying him $300,000 and now he's making $5-point-something million. That's ridiculous.
And not only that,
That's ridiculous.
you were paying him $300,000, but he was giving you $150,000 back
to
help pay for his coaches and
That's
all these
ridiculous.
other people.
Like, yeah, that's ridiculous.
Those are the types of things, and that's why I'm always like, guys, quit looking at everybody else's situation and comparing it to yours, because everybody's situation ain't like that.
Yeah.
What we just talked about it today. Frank Harris is staying at UTSA. He announced today that he will be there for, I think, his 7th year, I believe. JT Daniels is going to his 4th school. So where's the loyalty there? And he was a starter. JT Daniels was he came out of high school in 2018. He still has eligibility.
There you go.
So we got to understand that this is the way and this is the life now. People want to win. People want to have success. And they want to continue to grow. And you don't have to grow in the same spot. You can jump somewhere else and see where your growth path leads you. because that's what happens in a day-to-day business.
Yep.
Every day.
All right, good old Hard Knock Life there. We'll come back off the record on the other side. We'll hear from Bijan Robinson. You'll get to know your favorite running back a little bit better. All that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. Let me tell you about my friends over at Apple Leasing because time is money, and my friends at Apple Leasing understand this. They want to save you both. They're going to save you time, save you money, but also find value for you. That's what they do really well. Apple Leasing has the ability to put you in any make or model vehicle that you want. The professionals over at Apple Leasing can help you get the price you want, the payment you want on the car that you want, and all it takes is one phone call or one click on Apple Leasing's website, and you'll get a quote on any make or model vehicle that you want. They can even give you an estimate on the value of your trade-in right over the phone. Apple Leasing's simple interest, easy lease allows you to have a lot more flexibility, which is going to give you more possibilities and options to help you find the vehicle that fits you best, but more importantly, the vehicle that fits your budget best. Inflation is through the roof. It's out of control. It's never been more expensive to buy a new car, buy a used car, or buy anything for that matter. So leasing actually makes more sense than ever. You're only paying for the part of the car you're actually using. So call Apple Leasing today, right now, 512-346-9977, and let them see how much money they can save you. Apple Leasing gets all the same discounts, all the same incentives that the dealers do, except my friends at Apple Leasing. They pass those savings on to you, the customer. So give them a call, 512-346-9977, or visit appleleasing.com. That's appleleasing.com. All right, well, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Time for our Off the Record. All right, this actually comes from something I saw on social media, and you can't, obviously everything on social media ain't great, but this one came across my timeline, and I was really excited about it. So Bijan Robinson, he's got a lot of NIL endorsements, of course, but he's also got one with Roback. And Roback, I'm not actually sure exactly what Roback is. I'm not gonna act like I do. Do you know what Roback is?
I have some of their apparel.
So is it just like
It's
gear?
a clothing line.
It's a clothing line? Okay.
Based out. I think it's based out of Texas because on the back of it has Texas, the state of Texas flag.
Okay.
On the back of their apparel.
All right, there you
So
go.
I do have 2 shirts from them.
So there you go. Haraj is a fan of Roback.
Oh yeah, very comfortable.
Well, Bijan actually endorses Roback too, and they had a little Q&A essentially. You kind of put him on the hot seat and just kind of threw a lot of questions at him in a 2-minute span. I actually found out some things about Bijan Robinson that I didn't know, so I figured it'd be fun to share it with you guys. Here is the Roback Bijan Robinson 2-minute hot seat scenario where they throw a lot of questions at him. Here's. All right, there you go. So you learned something new about your favorite running back, Bijan. Anything there that you would disagree with that actually, in your opinion, makes him lose some street cred with you?
I don't know what that that little Chihuahuini.
The Chihuini?
Yeah, I don't. That's a little different.
Yeah, for a
but
guy
I'm
like
cool
Bijan.
with
Yeah.
I'm cool with the fact that he likes grape jelly and creamy peanut butter. I don't do the crunchy peanut butter. Matter of fact, I made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich the other day, and that thing was slapping.
Is it more peanut butter or more jelly for you?
I try to make it equal.
Oh, do you try to get
I
equal
try to
parts?
make it easy.
I haven't eaten a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in easily probably 30 years.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't had one in
love them.
Easily 30
I haven't
years.
had one in 2022, but I probably had one last 3 years.
Oh, it's
I
been 30 years.
love-
I haven't had
I
them
love
since
peanut butter and jelly
preteen
sandwich.
years.
No,
Man.
because there's
Yeah.
times too. It's like when you don't have a lot of money at points, you just be like, let me buy this, and then if I'm ever hungry, I've got cheap food ready to go.
Dude, I'm a cheap food guy. Listen, you want to go cheap food? Let's go cheap dishes right now. Okay, first of all,
I know what you-
Spam is the cheapest dish you get. You gotta keep
Never had Spam.
You never had Spam?
Never had Spam.
You ain't been broke.
I've been broke.
That's what I'm saying. Spam
Don't
is
forget,
a
I played
great-
minor league
That's
baseball
what I'm
for a
saying. I'm telling
long
you,
time.
Spam is a great dish when you're broke.
Never.
You can fry it up.
Never Spam.
Just getting eggs and making eggs out of everything. Eggs, sandwiches.
Eggs is the
eggs,
easiest thing
because
for me
eggs
to
are
get.
cheap,
Yes.
and then you can get a ton of them. So eggs and bread is
Yeah.
just easy. Sometimes you get toasted eggs.
Yeah.
Eat that all day long.
Every day.
Every day. Like for
Every
lunch,
day.
breakfast, dinner, don't matter.
Road
Toasted
trips.
eggs.
Like, hey, man,
My-
we're going to figure something out.
Mom and dad, we were at one point, one of the favorite dishes, because I knew they were having some money trouble when this happened a lot. And so I knew they were having money trouble with this when we got this dish like twice a week. Chili, cheese, and rice.
Oh no, chili
Oh.
rice so nice.
Chili, cheese, and rice.
That's what my mom called it.
I
Chili
love
rice
that.
so nice.
I love it.
Exactly.
Love it.
Yeah.
Ro-
I was like,
Man, I had that. I was eating it when I was like 25, and I was like, wait a minute.
I love it. I can eat chili, cheese, and rice to this day right
For
now.
real.
But
you
yeah,
can't eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
I never, even when that's not one of my things. That's not what I ate. But you're right. If you broke and you need to eat, that's the way to do it.
I had one the other day.
And it's
I sat
fast.
there and I
It's fast. You just get it
Yeah,
in real
that's
quick,
true.
make it done.
Ramen noodles. Thank you.
I
Respect
love
Sex Line.
ramen noodles.
Ramen
Yeah.
noodles. Good dish when you broke. There
I
you
was
go.
sitting there, and we used to make ramen noodle sandwiches with it. I used to
Wow.
I used to put it on bread.
That's different.
Yeah,
That's
man.
a game changer right
Very
there.
good.
Ramen noodle sandwiches.
Sandwiches.
Wow, that's
But
a
I'm
sandwich.
telling you.
That's a sandwich, not a sandwich.
That's what
You make a
exactly.
ramen noodle in between two pieces of bread. That's a sandwich,
I'm
not
telling
a
you.
sandwich.
I'm telling you. When I made
I
that
agree,
peanut
man.
butter and jelly sandwich the other day, I thought I was in heaven.
I know.
Because you're right. You don't eat them all the time.
Yeah.
So when I got an opportunity to do it, everybody was gone. I was there by myself, came around. I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
Just me and my dog looking at
Yeah,
each
see,
other.
but this is the thing though. Harge also has kids, so he's got peanut butter and jelly in the house.
Oh, that's true.
That's the thing. You gotta, if you're an
Yeah,
adult, like, you gotta go out
yeah.
and buy peanut butter and jelly, and then
But
it
my
just sits
kids
there
don't
forever.
like it. My kids
They
don't like
it?
peanut butter and jelly
Oh,
sandwiches.
come
That's
on,
'cause
man.
y'all
They too
privileged
bougie?
now y'all got some bread. They living good. Back in the day, someone says bean and cheese tacos.
Yes.
That's a
Yeah.
great one.
Yeah.
Bean and cheese tacos are it. That's a great one. I love that. I get
Yeah.
refried beans and some cheese, get some tortillas.
Yeah.
Oh man, have a great dinner.
Yep. Yep.
Like 4 of them joints, eating good.
Yeah.
Someone says bologna sandwiches and grapes. Oh. Ugh. I'd rather have Spam. And I tell you, and I'm supposed to cheap like deli meats. I guess
Yeah.
Spam is guess what I'll go. But that's bologna. Is just horrible.
Yeah,
someone
especially
said-
when they get the bubble on it.
Yeah, eggs are so says eggs are clutch when you're broke. Eggs
Yep.
are clutch. Eggs, bread. Well, I don't know if bread's cheap anymore. It used to be cheap.
Yep.
Eggs, bread, and Spam and ramen noodles, and you should be pretty good. You need
Yep.
some meat in there. But that's where the Spam comes in.
I was gonna
It's
say, you can
fake
dice
meat.
it up.
It's like faux meat, yeah. Boom, real fine. All right, we come back. We'll get into some Texas basketball discussion, them losing to Illinois last night. We'll break it down right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn.
It's your boy Hardball Harge here, and I want to talk to you about my friend Kenneth Banks. Are you tired of your financial advisor's only game plan is to tell you to just ride it out? When you're standing eye to eye with the market volatility, you want a financial advisor that won't tell you to just ride it out. Instead, you want somebody working alongside you to help you navigate through today's market roller coaster. You want Ken Banks with Equitable Advisors Austin. Ken works with you as an individual, not as dollars and definitely not as stats. Does your financial advisor communicate with you regularly? Ken Banks does. Ken Banks returns your call within 24 hours. Talk with Ken today at 901-679-9157, and together you can plan for your future that reflects more of who you are. Don't just ride it out with the other guys. Talk to Ken at 901-679-9157. That's Ken Banks with Equitable Advisors Austin, 901-679-9157.
Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn, midweek movie music edition of Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. Appreciate all of you guys on the Specs text line, your participation, sending us off your broke dishes. when you were broke and didn't have any money, what actually kept the belly full. We appreciate Serb sandwiches, appreciate that.
Yep.
Someone says peanut butter and jalapeno sandwich.
Ooh.
Yeah, Earl Campbell sausage and tortilla and a tortilla slice. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. That's not bad at all. I've had that before, just a sausage and then just wrap it up. That's easy. And then PB&Js. My man Harge got this started talking about his PB&Js.
Yeah, from
and
the
then
other night.
revealing he'd never had Spam in his life.
Ever.
Which was crazy.
Ever.
But I forgot that Harge, and he mentioned this before, is part of a famous family barbecue spot down there.
Maurice's barbecue pit.
Okay, so you guys had some barbecue, free barbecue though every now and then.
On Thursday. That was the only time we could come. KB, profits, baby.
Yeah.
Papa said, come on down. We come on down and get some, man.
That's why Harge family was too good for Spam. Because they was getting that good meat.
I was just
they was getting that
fair.
real good,
Very fair.
that good BBQ, man.
Very
Yeah,
fair.
I feel you on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so random factoid there. All right, but we got a lot to get into. We'll get into the Texas basketball game. They lost to Illinois. Raj rant of the day. Actually, we got to talk about a conspiracy that is a brewing about Major League Baseball. We'll get into that. Oh, yes. Thanks, Texter. I hate tuna. My wife loves tuna, but I'm not a fan of it. Even though been broke is a joke, I've never been that broke. I'm not going to do it. All right, but we'll get into some Texas basketball discussion here coming up. You can be a part of the show. Please do continue with your participation. We love it. 512-337-3776. And also coming up in about 5 minutes, we're gonna hear from my man Snoop down there at Waterloo Ice House because they're celebrating the All Flex finalists. We released them and announced them yesterday, but then we'll get into the actual celebration today. Waterloo Ice House 2222 and 360. They've been out there since 3 o'clock. They'll have a live broadcast from 7 to 9. All right, let's get it right to it, gentlemen. Longhorns with a disappointing loss to Illinois. They did fight hard, and they controlled most of the game. They lost 85-78 in overtime. And I think probably the most disappointing aspect of this game was that the Longhorns had multiple opportunities in clutch time and regulation to close out this game and to finish off Illinois.
Yep.
And they just didn't do it. They had a 10-point lead with 8:28 left. They had an 8-point lead with 6:44 left. They had a 6-point lead with 3:34 left, 5-point lead with 1:51 left, 5-point lead with 60 seconds left, 2-point lead with 21 seconds left with Tyrese Hunter on the line, and they could not close out Illinois. Illinois goes on to win the game 85-78.
Yeah, it was a tough go. I mean, you talked about it earlier, and one of the things that I continue to talk about was the fact that Texas led for 26 minutes of this game, 26 minutes and 3 seconds. They were playing, they were moving, they were cutting. The one thing that we talked about before we left yesterday was who was going to shoot better from three-point land, and the fact that Marcus Carr was a guy that he didn't have his best game. He was 1 for 7 in the first half. He was 2 for 7 in the second half, but he continued to have the ball in his hands at the end of the game. Now, I don't mind him having the ball in his hands at the end of the game if he's distributing. It was when he was trying to do too much with it, dribble, and we've seen it before where at the very end of it, we have to throw up a shot, and it seems like a forced shot because you've been dribbling for 23 seconds of the shot clock. I mean, there's so many things that
stagnates
went wrong.
the movement, too. It's like less movement when he becomes...
And we started ball watching again.
ISO ball.
And that's not who we are. I mean, you got to make sure that you're using all those great players that are brought in. I still thought that I thought that Sir Jabari Rice could have been more assertive. He was doing well. I mean, but he was giving up the ball a lot.
He did.
And then you also talk about Tyrese Hunter. We still got to figure out what's going on with these cramps with him. We got to figure Marcus Carr he caught a cramp, and I know that we talked about the more minutes that they play, but if you're conditioned for that and you know that you have cramps going into games, you got to prepare yourself, whether it's hydrating the day before, the night before, however long, and continuing to drink while you're on there. I mean, there were some things that were missed. Let's just say I didn't think that Illinois outplayed Texas. I think Texas lost the basketball game.
Yeah.
I just think that's how it went down.
No, and I agree with you completely that this was if you don't have the just careless turnovers you finish strong at the rim, you fight for some few more rebounds, just things that you've done all season, things that make it a Chris Beard team. They just didn't seem like they wanted to do that at all. And then we get into weird things of just the lineups of, he did not seem to want to play any of his bigs. Brock Cunningham had the most minutes of any of the bigs. Dylan Mitchell had a couple more minutes in him, but Dylan Mitchell was the only one who was effective against Matthew Meyer, who went off.
Yep.
But
Did he ever?
Dylan Dessou, we know Dylan Dessou was banged up and only played, I think, 16 minutes versus Creighton.
Yeah, that was strange.
Played 9 minutes last night.
That was weird.
And before the game, Chris Beard was like, Dylan Dessou's ready to go. He's full go. And then played 9 minutes. So I don't know if he's seeing something out of him that he doesn't like the way what he's seeing out of him. But right now, he does not apparently – he's not in big favor of Dylan Dessou, which is a problem because Dylan Dessou looked like he was starting to play better at the beginning of the season. It looked like that offseason really helped him. But I don't know what's happening where there seems to be a disconnect right now, and hopefully they can figure that out.
You talked about this earlier, Patrick. Ricardo from Galveston said there was a lot of not finishing strong. It was very strange.
Yep.
Both teams struggled really to finish strong, maybe because the defensive presence at the rim was obviously that formidable. But Texas on layups and dunks, by my count, and maybe somebody has a different count, I got them 12 of 21. On layups and dunks, and a lot of those came late second half of the second half, or second part, I should say, of the second half. They didn't finish really strong at the rim, and I think that may have come back to haunt them too a little bit in this matchup.
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at it, and the things that we talked about was the turnovers, but the points in the paint. Texas had 38 points in the paint.
They did.
They had 38 points in the paint to 28 by Illinois.
They were blocked 12 times.
And they were blocked 12 times.
They were blocked 12 times with 38 points in the paint. And, like I said, 9 missed layups or dunks.
Yes.
So maybe that's where the game was won and lost.
That's
what I'm saying
was.
and that's what it is. It's those little things of not putting forth 100% effort of all the time.
Yeah.
Of, hey, man, we're getting what we want inside. We're able to get points in the paint. So we'll just go in there and just kind of throw it up off the glass. And we'll just take it up easy. And not doing what you need to do to win games against good teams, which is go hard at the rim.
Yeah.
It's just, again, I'll tell you, if I'm 5'11" at my tallest playing basketball, and it would really piss me off when a 6'8" kid would lay the ball up and get it blocked or bounce off the back of the rim. I'm like, man, I saw you dunk 48 times in pregame warmups, and now because there's a body there, you don't want to do it? Like, I'll go put me under the basket. I'll go fly in there and get knocked on the ground 30 times a game easy because I want to get to the free throw line. Yo can't go up strong?
That's true.
And
That's funny.
it's easy stuff, and it's so frustrating when you watch guys, and like Dylan Mitchell missed one that was a layup in there because he laid it up instead of dunking it. You just can't do those things.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's I'm with you on that too. Oh man, Snoop came in. Tell Snoop to come back in here.
That's cool. Yeah.
I thought Snoop was like at the spot. Tell Snoop to come back in here, whatever, because we want to do the preview here with Snoop talking about the Flex finalists. Okay, but getting back to Texas basketball, Harge, it to me. If you go look at kind of overall all of the parts of the game that end up being a little bit disappointing, looking at the parts that really should have Longhorn fans excited, Timmy Allen.
Yeah. He showed up.
He's back,
showed
baby.
up. He showed up. I talked about him yesterday.
Exactly. 21 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds. He had a hell of a game. So you got to give Timmy Allen some props, too. He stepped up when, some of your other guys like Marcus Carr, you talked about him. And Serge Jabari Rice, he was 3 of 4. I think you wanted to see more of him. You wanted to see him step up and be more aggressive,
I wanted him to be more aggressive because that's what we want to continue to talk about. We talk about the 3-guard set and how much experience they have and what was going to take place, and that is what was needed. We needed the 3 guards to come in and handle their business, and when one is off, like Marcus Carr was last night, we needed one like Tyrese Hunter or Serge Jabari Rice to take over.
That was supposed to be the beauty of having such a deep guard core is that one of those guys is off. Nobody needs to be overburdened to do too much.
Exactly.
And it felt like Carr felt like he needed to do too much.
And that was the point, too, is when you get to the end of the game, you're like, whoever Terrence Shannon's guarding, don't have them take the last shot.
Right.
If you're going to have the best defender on your team, that means somebody else doesn't have the best defender on the team on them.
So get it back
So
to
get
him.
the ball to get to Tyrese Hunter because Terrence Shannon is covered. Is covering Marcus Carr.
Yeah.
It's not like that's not rocket science. That's, hey, man, if you go up and the best defender's guarding you, pass the ball.
Man, Terrence Shannon put on his cape for overtime.
Man.
It was a great game plan that Chris Beard had against Terry Shannon for the game, but he had 16 points total. 12 of those came in overtime.
Yeah.
he went. Oh, Matthew Mayer basically, he's the one that carried them the entire game, but in overtime, that's when Terrence Shannon took over. So basically, your your former Big 12 foes
Yep.
Yes.
are the biggest reason you lost the game.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, 100%. Matthew Meyer had the game of his life.
It was-
And he's always been good against Texas because, man, Austin kids that go play, and if it's in football and baseball and anything else, if it's an Austin kid who didn't go to Texas, they're usually not thrilled when they play Texas. That is usually a game where they're like, hey, I'm coming out to tell you Austin's a better town than you, and I don't want you, and blah, blah, and everything of that. And he came out and showed it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was impressive. And that's the thing is that's probably going to be his best game of the year.
Yep.
Because
Right.
it's
He
going to
was
be hard
motivated.
to match that.
Yeah, he had
because he was
motivation.
hitting everything.
He had motivation. He wanted to get back at Texas for not recruiting him hard enough. Show the Central Texas folks that he's the man. The Westlake connection, all that kind of stuff. He has a lot going on there.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be crazy to think
Like
if
what
you're
I mean.
watching that game and you were also on that Westlake team to watch them playing in Madison Square Garden,
Yeah.
two ranked teams, and you're just like, man, we were probably good.
Yeah, I know. Westlake people are very proud, right? It's a perfect segue to the flex because Westlake folks are proud right now, not only of that football machine that lives off and devours the souls of other football programs that it beats, but also their basketball products as well. But we got the man with us. I'm glad he's live with us.
I know, right?
But you need to head down to Waterloo, 2222 and 360. That's where the party's at. Official all Flex party because we're celebrating the Flex Finals, which were announced yesterday. It's up at FLXATX.com, FLXATX on all your social media platforms. We are joined now by Snoop, JJ Dunn. He is the man. He's the mastermind behind the Flex. What's going on, brother?
What up, y'all?
Oh, is it? We got him on.
There he is.
There
There
you
I
go.
do that all the time.
Yeah,
Patrick.
yeah.
Patrick, Patrick, I'm your producer brother.
I look at Snoop is like multitasking right now.
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
posting stuff on social media while talking to us and giving us updates.
Yes.
And he's back there editing stuff. Man, the man is always on his
He's on his
game, on
grind,
his A
man.
game, and I appreciate you, Snoop. I tell you right now, you actually do a really good job as someone with their work ethic around here that makes everybody question whether they're working hard enough.
Yeah.
You're a great example of that, man.
That's-
Every time I come up here, I'm like, Snoop's up here. Get damn it.
Yeah.
It's early in the morning. I
know.
come up here a podcast. Snoop's up here. I stay late. Snoop's up here.
Yeah.
I don't want to be
Thank you, man.
annoying like
No,
that.
man.
But you know what? When I was in Dallas and I was an intern, I started with Kid Craddock. The people would get mad at me for showing up before them.
That's what I'm saying, 'cause you make people
thinking
look
I was
bad.
showing up
Hey.
like this is a long time as an intern. You're like,
Yeah,
why
yeah.
are you showing up before 6? Like,
Yeah,
this isn't your
'cause
full
that's
time
me.
job.
That's
Hey,
me.
No,
I'm like,
man, we
yeah.
appreciate it. I like
Yeah.
you're one of those. You're a glue guy. You're one of those culture guys. You're good for the culture.
No doubt.
You're good for the
No
culture. Let's
doubt.
talk about the flex
I was
culture.
going to say,
Thank
let's
you,
talk about
Rob.
that culture, man. Let's talk about
all right,
that.
let's talk about the finalists on the flex because we're really excited about it. First, tell us about the Waterloo Ice House extravaganza happening tonight. Actually, it's going on as we speak.
Well, shout out Clayton and the whole fam. There's Flex fam posted up there now. Hunter Rio was the first to show from Lake Travis. Rio the hero from Lake Travis, which beat unbeaten Steel with a 40-plus yard field goal. So shout out to him for being one of our finalists. But yeah, it's a celebration, and shout out to Waterloo. It's almost 360. We started with the summer socials.
Yep, we
So
did.
today, like late, but I'm deeming this the winter social.
I like
so
that.
It's going to be popping. So single moms come out also.
Hey man, I love that you give props to the single moms. When I was a single man, I love single moms. Big fan of single moms. Yeah,
See,
still
I'm on
am.
a Horn FM right now. I'm not on, the kiddie centric.
That's right, that's right.
So I'm
That's
pushing
right.
flex.
Yeah.
but
BPM. You
You're
know?
pushing the flex, but you flexing yourself
See
right
my
now.
brothers, Harge and Rod.
I
you feel
love
me?
it. I love it. So let me ask you this, man. There's a lot of hard work that goes on behind the scenes. You and your crew, one of the best to ever do it because of the time and the effort that you put into it. This whole thing pretty much is your baby. This is the flex is what Snoop is about. So tell us and take us to the scenes about how'd you come up with the idea of all of this?
Well, it started as a brand called Fan Stand.
Yep.
Back in the day
Remember
for a
that.
decade.
Yeah.
COVID happened and had to make some moves. Thankfully, Jason Nasser and Lise Hudson
Yep,
was
yep.
there to catch her brother and
yeah.
give me a shot. Losing something that I did for 10 years, just reinvigorating that fire and just tenfold it, and really like it's it hadn't been hard to build it because it's been already built.
the base has been there.
But to come to the Horn and it's like throwing kerosene on it, because it's actually like a sports station. Shout out to the former place, but it was like a conservative talk station.
Right.
So just to, the dynamics of that, which I won't go into.
We all know.
During the Obama administration to start as well. I tell you, I got stories, but I won't.
It was fun working over there, Snoop. It was fun. We had time over there.
Patrick.
We all were there, bro.
Hey, I got some crazy stories to tell y'all, but
But back to the kids.
Yeah.
It's so. I mean, it really is all about them, and we're really, we talk about the sports, but we're shouting out their offers.
Yeah.
We're shouting out their birthdays. Their mama birthday. It's just really personal and a different take at high school sports.
Okay, so give me, because I know we talked about the 3+ hour call that we all had,
Oh, Lord.
where we debated each and every position and every finalist and had that discussion. You've seen all the finalists now. And I don't think anybody has more authority to make than you. But I know
It's just I get the most upset.
It's a democratic process,
Yes.
though.
I really hope this is how the Heisman process goes. Who fought for Max Duggan and who fought against him?
That's a great point. No, you're right.
I hope that got fiery.
No,
Right.
it did. No, and it did get fiery, and I'll give you a lot of credit for the passion out there. Give me your thoughts about the flex finalists and the all flex finalists so far. And I know you even have guys that you thought were right on the cusp, but that didn't quite make it, that you like to give props to.
I'll
too.
name
'Cause I
drop
did
them.
that as well. Because at the DBs, I gave DJ Shaw some credit.
Yes.
I gave a lot of guys some credit there
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Oh yeah. David Jeffrey also from Manor.
Yeah,
but
good player.
but a guy like Mason Cochran, you talk about who on the cusp, but a junior can come back next year. So those kind of things came into example. You talk about a guy like Bowen Staub from Lago Vista, and here's where like I was getting passionate. It was like, how far do we span out?
I remember that discussion.
Because, Nathan Mitchell
from Temple.
is outstanding. Sanford made his way onto our list as well. Jayden Chapman was a guy originally on. So it's like, do we expand to the 254?
Yeah. Hard will say yeah.
You know that 254 all day.
Correct. So in that lies, we just have so much talent. So the further that you spread out and the deeper you go down, because we used to only cover 6A and 5A. Now we're going down to 4A.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And we're going out to we didn't even cover Liberty Hill back in the day.
Right.
Now it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So less spots, we can get more people.
Hey, man,
Yeah,
thanks
that's
to
what
you,
it's
it's
all
getting
about,
bigger and bigger,
man.
no question.
Yeah.
I'm going to Waterloo after the show. I'm going down there.
Yeah, we're all coming by.
360, 22,
Thank
after the show done. And it'll be a live broadcast that Snoop and the crew are doing from Waterloo Ice House. And you're working now through the broadcast, too, but you're going to be on the broadcast.
I am basically at Waterloo on 2222 360 because we are so close.
It is close.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, I'll just hop in the studio and then hop over there because
Yeah.
we are really close. So I will be there. Trust me. Make
They're
way
posting
after
a lot of
football.
pictures right now.
Yeah.
We're seeing all the people that are coming through as we speak. Like Travis has been out there.
Shout out.
They've come and get their awards. Bucky's over there right now with Zach and
Hold up, Bucky's over there?
Bucky made the trip, bro.
Wow.
Yes.
Y'all got Bucky out in the PM.
Woo.
He's like a vampire. I don't see Bucky out like that.
Like
That's
a
crazy.
Well,
That's
reverse
good.
vampire. I guess you'd say.
Vampire in Brooklyn.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's appropriate.
Can we
That's
talk
right.
about
Talking
Eddie
about
Murphy?
It. Yeah,
That's
talk
right.
about Eddie
That's our
Murphy.
Eddie Murphy talk.
All right. Thanks, my man, Snoop. Still, we appreciate you, Snoop. Next time we'll talk to you around 6:15 or
Yes.
something like that. We'll check in again.
Delirious or raw, fellas, real quick.
I'm gonna go with Delirious. I'm
Raw.
going Delirious.
Raw.
I'm going raw.
Raw.
It was a reverse jinx there. You
Yeah,
said
I'm
raw.
going-
You
I'm
said
going Delirious.
Red suit or
Red
what,
suit.
Or what was the other one he wore?
They
Anyway.
wore that. It was like
the
almost a
Purple or
It's a
something
blue,
like that.
right? It was a bluish.
Bluish, purplish. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. I remember that. Yeah, yeah.
Chartreuse? Is that what they call it? I don't
Chartreuse. Okay, I didn't even know.
know.
That boy got that
No, y'all
fashion
know.
right there. There you
Y'all
go.
know. All right.
That boy broke it down.
Chartreuse.
Chartreuse.
I like
hanging
it.
around,
Appreciate
them, hanging around them single moms, man.
You
New
know how to-
vocab.
That boy over there ready.
Snoop is the man. They got that on the SpecSex line. We
Yeah.
love my man Snoop, man. One of the hardest working members, if not the hardest working member of the ARN family. All right, let's come back. We'll get into a conspiracy that I think is a brewing in Major League Baseball.
Come on.
Ask my man Harge about it. I don't even know if it's a conspiracy. If it's been proven true, as my man Patrick said before, is that a conspiracy? Maybe we're just talking about an
No, if it's true,
we're talking about an
it ain't
inconvenient
conspiracy.
truth.
Yeah.
But I think that Major
we
League
call
Baseball,
those facts.
Yeah, Rob Manfred would have you to believe that it's a conspiracy. We'll come back and discuss it on the other side. Right here on Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Local and Rod Babers here. Let me tell you about my friends over at Twin Peaks because they're your friends, too. Twin Peaks is the perfect place to enjoy all of your sports watching action. The World Cup is still happening as we speak. You also got NBA action happening. Still got some college football. Yeah, you still got some bowl games coming up. Still got the college football playoffs. But NFL Sundays are great. So if your NFL Monday Night Football and the NFL Thursday Night Football and the NFL and all of that action is better consumed at your local Twin Peaks, folks. Trust me, it is a great time, whether you're talking about hanging out there for happy hour, which is back and better than ever at Twin Peaks from 2 to 7, Monday through Friday. You can score sweet deals like $1 off all wine, liquor, cheap shots, freezing cold, 29-degree draft brews as well. But if you're feeling a little hungry, they have a great menu, a scratch menu, a delicious menu. Every delicious dish on the menu is made from scratch. So if you're thinking about a new favorite spot for lunch or dinner or those late night eats, don't forget about Twin Peaks. They also have, if you're a late night owl like me and you stay up late, they have great deals for their late night specials, but also during their happy hour specials, great deals on appetizers. They got $2 appetizers available, $4 appetizers available, and $6 appetizers available, all at your local Twin Peaks during happy hour. So go check it out for yourself. Local Twin Peaks, Stastny location, the San Marcos location, or the Round Rock location. Go to TwinPeaksRestaurant.com to find out more. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, and scenic views. All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Time to get into Rod's rant of the day. And this is a story, it's been out there for a little while, but now we have an update on it from The Insider. Got it from theinsider.com, and it's based on a study done by Meredith Wills. She heads up the research for the Society for American Baseball. She's an award-winning astrophysicist. And she recently, I think it was last season, she is the one that dropped the bombshell before Major League Baseball admitted it, and they were using multiple balls. She studied all the baseballs in Major League Baseball and did the studies on them, chopped them up, did the studies in a lab, and found out they were using multiple baseballs. Because I remember Justin Verlander, he was asked what he said to an official, because he went to having to talk to an official one day. I saw this story at Cron.com, and they asked him what he said to the official, because he talked to him. It looked like he had a really intense conversation. And Justin Verlander said to the media, I said to him, quote, "When are you going to fix the effing baseballs?"
Mm-hmm. It's funny that you brought that up.
No, this is a story that's, I'm sure you probably read about it too recently, Harj. And for those who don't know, basically Rob Manfred has admitted they used multiple baseballs. Now, before he admitted it, this study had revealed that they were using multiple baseballs. Mm-hmm. And one ball had a center weight roughly 2.5 grams heavier than the other, making it carry further off the crack of the bat, which my pitchers were like, hey, what the hell's going on with these baseballs? And here's Chris Bassett, pitcher of the New York Mets. A quote from him. He was on SNY. He went on a rant, actually. He was on television. You can go see it on YouTube. He said, Major League Baseball has a very big problem with the baseballs, and they're bad. Everyone knows it. Every pitcher in the league knows it. They're bad. Major League Baseball doesn't give a damn about it. We've told them our problems with the baseballs. They don't care. When asked what made them so bad, Bassett said, they're all different. The first inning, they're decent. The third inning, they're bad. The fourth inning, they're okay. The fifth inning, they're bad. And there's no common ground with these baseballs. So I went and actually looked at this quote from Rob Manfred. And Rob Manfred actually acknowledged in a statement in July that they were using multiple baseballs. The statement basically was essentially they're using it, and he said that there's no plan on how they use them. At a press conference before the All-Star game, Rob Manfred, he said they acknowledged the league had used 2 baseballs in 2021. Mm-hmm. He chalked the ball variants up to COVID-era manufacturing, he said. He said they had different plants in Costa Rica and different plants making them. There were supply chain issues and stuff like that, and that's why they had different baseballs all over Major League Baseball. He said the league had deliberately switched to a new, lighter, deader ball, but pandemic closures and supply chain issues meant that it needed to dip into a reserve stock of older, heavier, livelier balls for the 2021 games. The league claimed it distributed the balls randomly. All right, said that we didn't have any plan where these balls are going. We didn't know where they were going. It just randomly distributed the balls. Rob Manfred said every baseball that's in use in 2022 was produced under new manufacturing processing rules, meaning the deader ball.
Yep.
And in fact, the process had resulted in more consistent baseball. So he said, according to a new analysis, this was done by Meredith Wills. She said she studied more than 200 baseballs used in games during the 2022 season. And Meredith Wills, who is a researcher, astrophysicist for the Society for American Baseball Research, said it's not true what Mark Manfred is saying. Major League Baseball did not settle into using a single, more consistent ball in 2022 and 2021. She said by the time Manfred made the statement in July, Wills had already found evidence that at least a handful of those older, livelier, juiced balls, the ones that they said the new manufacturing process replaced, were still in circulation in the 2022 season. Though these juice balls are from 2021 or earlier, according to manufacturing markings, they were used in 2022. The Insider obtained 2 of them from a June 5th Yankees match against the Tigers. So over the next few months, Wills and the Insider, with whom she worked, and that's where I got this story, they shared their research. And how about this? This is the bombshell, Harge. They found a third type of ball. Mm-hmm. They said in addition to the small number of older juice balls being used and the new balls that they said are under new manufacturing rules and processes, Wills found evidence that a third ball was being used at stadiums across the majors. They call it the Goldilocks ball. According to Wills' data, Major League Baseball deployed this third baseball alongside the dead ball in 2022 with production starting as early as January, 6 months before Manfred promised a one-ball season. This third ball's weight centers somewhere between the juice ball the league phased out last season and the newly announced dead ball. It is on average about 1.5 grams lighter than the juice ball and 1 gram heavier than the dead ball. According to the league's own research, a heavier ball tends to have more pop off the bat, meaning the third ball, the Goldilocks ball, would likely travel farther than a dead ball hit with equal force. Harge?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I mean, we've heard this for years, and I know a bunch of guys that are still around the game that have all talked about it. But one of the things that used to happen is, remember, back in Colorado, they used to talk about keeping the balls in the humidor because of the air. And that's when all those home runs and the way the ball was flying, because they would jump off the bat a lot more. So to go back to your point, if you start looking at year to year to year to year on the home runs and how they were broken down, 2012 there was 4,900 home runs that were hit total. Let's just say 49-34. In 2022, it was back up to 5,215. But if you look at 21 and 19, where you were talking about, Rob, 2019, 676 home runs were hit. 21, 5,944. And then this past year, 22, there was 52-15. So the numbers are fluctuating.
Yeah.
And they're changing the balls because of that.
Exactly.
And that's why they said Major League Baseball has gone down 23% home run rate since 2019.
Yeah, they can't figure it out. They keep messing with it. They keep telling us they're not messing with it, but the science says that they are messing with it. The study also, the research said they accumulated 204 baseballs from 22 big league parks just from the 2022 season, more than Wills had obtained in previous studies. Also, how about this? One player told Insider that one of Manfred's top lieutenants warned a players' union official not to let players send any balls to Wills for third-party testing, and warned that the league could fire any union team employees who helped her research. Yep. Nonetheless, they got the baseballs from sources around the league and supplemented their sample by purchasing balls fans caught in, at big league parks, home runs and foul
batting
balls,
practice,
whatever
and stuff
it was
like that.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's worth noting that they said the balls they obtained fell within the legal specifications of Major League Baseball's rulebook, but Alan Nathan, a league commission physicist, once said, quote, "The specs on Major League Baseballs, they almost don't deserve to be called specs. They're so loose that the range of performance from the top end to the bottom end is so different." Mm-hmm. So this is actually the most intriguing part of the story for me. And it wasn't even actually the stuff we just brought up. It was where they found these special Goldilocks balls and where they found them disproportionately. So they claim that they found the Goldilocks balls disproportionately in playoff games, including the World Series, All-Star games, and the Home Run Derby. And it claims regular season games that use special commemorative stamp balls, such as Texas Rangers 50th anniversary balls on the leather, stuff like that. So they're claiming, or at least the study is, that they found a disproportionate number of those balls basically in some of the big events in the playoffs, and they also claim they found a lot of them with the Yankees.
Huh, shocker.
Yeah. They said while Willis research found dead balls at parks around the country, the Goldilocks balls with a more batter-friendly weight profile only turned up at Yankees games and marquee events like All-Star Game, Home Run Derby, playoff games, and like I said, those commemorative events at like the Rangers' 50th anniversary ball. But they said most of the regular season games where they found Goldilocks balls, Yankees games.
Yeah. Not shocked by that.
Hey, congrats, Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
Got that straight
Hey,
cash.
get
homie.
that. Give me my money. So the bottom line after all of that, Rod, is we need to put Mark McGuire. We need to put Barry Bonds. We need to put Roger Clemens.
You're right about
We need
that.
to put all those people into the Hall of Fame because Major League Baseball is complicit in all of this.
Yeah.
Period.
Ball manufacturer Rawlings, which Major League Baseball purchased in 2018 alongside San Diego Padres owner Pete Seidler's private equity firm, denied changes to the baseball, saying, quote, "This research has no basis in fact. There was no third ball manufactured, and the ball manufactured prior to 2021 process change was fully phased out, and following the 2021 season, all the balls produced in the 2022 season utilized the previously announced process change." So they're basically denying all of this stuff.
Of course.
But the players are saying, they've been telling you for the last
Yeah.
5 years, something's wrong
Yeah.
with these balls, man. These balls are different, and I work with these balls every damn day.
Every day.
All right, and like Tom Brady, hey, to me these balls are perfect.
Exactly.
Those guys care about their balls, and they're saying it's different, and the science is also saying the balls are different. The only people saying the balls are the same and that they're based on the new process, and it's only a one ball league basically, is Major League Baseball. So who do we believe?
Okay, yeah,
The
exactly.
players are the league. The players, the science, or the league.
And
I believe the players and the science.
Thank you. They work hand in hand.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
the league is trying to produce money.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But get it right.
Yeah.
I don't care if the balls are juiced. I don't care if they're heavy or whatever. Just make sure it's one ball. Can we do that? Can we just make sure that everybody's using the same kind of ball?
No,
They
sir.
got 3 different damn balls
No, we just
out
gotta
there.
make sure everybody has different bats. We all have different ballparks.
Yep.
We all have different balls.
You're right, that's
Yep.
Everything is gonna be different,
Yep.
except the distance on the bases and the pitchers from the mound. That is it.
Yep.
That
That's
is
fair.
the only thing that is going to be the same in baseball. Everything else will
That's
be
a
different.
great point, though. All the parks are different, though. The parameters
Parks
and
are different.
everything.
But
That's true.
they're making the bases
That's true.
bigger now. Don't forget about
They're
that.
making the bases
they're
bigger.
making the bases bigger. They're going to be same distance, but they're going to be bigger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a wild story.
Little league.
All right, we'll get back into that a little bit when we talk about Aaron Judge and the straight cash homie that he's raking in. Who's the favorite to land Hudson Card? We'll talk about that in the transfer portal on the other side. Right here on Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn.
Mike Hart here, and I want to talk to you about Quick Roofing. Let me ask you a quick question. How often do you think about your roof? Probably when it rains, some high winds, some hail, but I promise you probably don't think about it enough. Do yourself a favor and go to quickroofing.com right now. You can contact them at quickroofing.com. The story of Quick Roofing is very inspiring. Jeff Quick started Quick Roofing with one roof in 1984, and now we're 38 years later, and they've got over 200,000 projects. You can't stay in business that long if you're not taking care of your customers, and you got to have a great customer service reputation. Here are some of the reasons you should choose Quick Roofing. You get a free, no obligation inspection. You get 7-year workmanship warranty. Quick Roofing is fully insured and has all state and local licenses. Quick Roofing doesn't even require any money up front until 100% completion and, of course, 100% satisfaction. Quick Roofing requires that a project manager is on every job site ensuring that the customer gets everything that they were promised. So what are you waiting for? Reach out today and call my friend Mark Baker and get that free inspection. Go to quickroofing.com today.
All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie, midweek movie music edition of Ball Don't Lie. My man Patrick doing a great job as always. Inspired by a film, takes songs from the soundtrack of that movie, plays them for us on the midweek movie music, and we're supposed to guess exactly what the movie was. Harge got it. First guess this time around, Beverly Hills Cop. This is also one of those musical selections that would have given it away.
Woo-hoo.
It's so specific to the movie,
Yeah.
and it takes you to a specific scene in the movie
Yes.
too. Yeah, that would giving it away. Beverly Hills Cop, showing a lot of love to Eddie Murphy today. And we'll get back to some Eddie Murphy conversation a little bit later on. Led to some, my man Snoop came in here and made some Eddie Murphy references on the show. So we'll get back to that conversation celebrating Beverly Hills Cop. Came out how many? 31?
38 years ago, 1984.
8 years ago.
Yeah.
Man, making me feel old right there. Specs text line wide open for you. 512-337-3776. That is the number to the Specs text line. All right, gentlemen, we have an article here. I got it from Longhorns Wire, so I'll give them some credit. That's where I saw it, but it's based on odds from bookies.com.
Mm-hmm.
And the odds are for Hudson Card's next landing spot, where Hudson Card is going to play his next, I think 2 years, right? He's got 2 years.
Yeah, I think he
Is
might
it 2
even have
years?
3.
Oh, he might have. Okay, wow.
Because, I mean,
Yeah, you're right, because I don't know. These days it's hard to keep up with the COVID year, and then the red shirt years now are different. So I'm with you.
come on, man.
Yeah, you're right about that. I have no idea. I'm not going to straight up admit my ignorance. I don't know. His future football will be played at one of these spots.
Right.
Well, they're saying these are the best odds. These places have the best odds to land Hudson Card via the transfer portal. They say TCU, best odds to land Hudson Card. What say you?
What about your boy Chandler Morris? And then there was a
You got
note
Chandler
that
Morris
came
in there?
out. There was a note that came out just yesterday that Max Duggan will announce what his plans are soon. Like he may
He's got another year too?
Yeah.
All these dudes have other years.
That's
I don't know
what I'm
where they're
saying.
getting these extra years, but it's a COVID year that really changed
Frank
everything.
Harris is 37 years old and he got a chance to come back at UTSA.
Dude, Spencer Sanders.
Spencer
Remember you brought him up,
Sanders,
too?
yes.
He transferred.
He's in the portal as a quote-unquote grad transfer.
Man, you know what? We really did miss opportunity because now these grad transfers and everything, you can basically get your master's,
Right.
just staying in school,
Right.
and then get some money from NIL, and then decide to chase your professional athletic career.
And what is the purpose of chasing it? I've already had fun. I made money.
Hey,
I've started my career.
you got some money in the bank?
Yes.
Started your career, probably got a master's or
Got
at
a
least towards your
master's,
master's.
yes.
So life's looking good. No, I'm glad. I'm happy for these guys, man.
No doubt.
You take full advantage of it.
Yes.
You can get a great degree and you can get some straight cash homie in the bank account, good amount of it, and you probably still can honestly enjoy somewhat of a professional career because something tells me JT Daniels or Spencer Sanders, when they go to school, unless they're working on their their grad degree, their master's degree or something like that, then hell, they'll probably be taking, I don't know, the basic amount of hours to be eligible.
Right.
And do it the Joe Burrow treatment, the Joe Burrow plan.
Okay, so here's something about JT Daniels that I just saw. He graduated with his bachelor's degree in psychology from Georgia
Okay.
in 2022. He's pursuing his second bachelor's degree
he's got another bachelor's.
in multiple disciplinary studies as we speak.
Man,
and now
get two of 'em.
He's like, come on, man, I'm in school. I
got
might
the
as well
degree from
do
Georgia,
something.
The degree from here. You know what? I'm happy for him, man.
Yeah.
Here's the other the school with the next best odds to TCU to land Hudson Card, Notre Dame. That's not bad.
I like that one.
You got a lot of Texas products headed that
I
way
like
too.
that one.
We know Marcus Johnson recruiting Texas hard. Jaden Greathouse is headed up there for now.
Yeah, for now. For now.
Braden James, right? Also headed up there for now.
Braylon James, yeah.
Yeah, Wisconsin, they have as the third best odds to land Hudson Card.
But I think Wisconsin just hired North Carolina's.
Longo.
Yeah.
You're right.
And there was rumors already that Drake May be in the transfer portal.
Oh, you think?
Yeah.
That would be crazy
Yeah.
if Drake May switches up.
And this is the thing.
Mac losing a QB like that?
But I think the only reason why I would say he would not go, he wouldn't transfer, is because he's a legacy. His brother played basketball there. His dad was a quarterback at North Carolina.
Agreed.
It's a family deal.
Agreed.
So
yeah, I'm
that
with
would
you
be
on
my
that.
only
No,
reason why I would say no, he wouldn't do it.
No, that's a good point. That's a good one. Kentucky, next best, fourth best odds to land Hudson Card.
I like that.
I like the
Because Levis is supposed to be leaving. Their
that's
quarterback
good.
is
You're right
supposed to be
about that.
leaving too.
UTSA with the 5th best odds to land Hudson Card.
Didn't I just say that their quarterback is coming back for his 900th year?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
And then Will Stein, who used to be with Hudson Cart at
Lake Travis.
Lake Travis is now named OC for Oregon. And where is Oregon on
Maybe
that
throw
list?
them on that list.
Yeah, they
Hey,
need to
Bo
be thrown
Nix
there.
coming back though.
You know he got more time.
Everybody. Yeah. Wow. Coastal Carolina and Oklahoma State tied for the 6th best odds to land Hudson Card.
Well, Spencer Sanders did just get into
There
the
you go.
transfer
But
portal.
they're losing a lot.
But their quarterback situation is awful.
Don't go
Gundy's
there, Hudson.
Yeah.
Don't go there.
Don't do it.
Don't do
Please
it.
don't
yeah,
do
don't
it.
go there, Hudson. Go somewhere else, man. And Coastal Carolina also tied. Coastal Carolina losing their coach.
And they lost their. I think
Losing their
their
coach.
quarterback's been hurt too. McCall,
Yeah.
he was hurt
Yeah.
all year. So
I don't know where Hudson Card's going, but somebody's going to land a hell of a quarterback. We know
I
that.
agree.
Guy's getting better, and I think he's going to end up having a really good year wherever he ends up. All right, we'll come back. We got one more hour left. We'll get into the Cowboys-Texans preview on the other side. Cowboys making an acquisition. John Robinson fired. Baker Mayfield has a new home. NFL news, notes, and nuggets on the other side right here on Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. My man Harge is jamming midweek movie music
man.
right here on Ball Don't Lie. The feature of midweek movie music is Beverly Hills Cop 38 years ago today.
38 years ago. And I'll tell you,
Is this
it's not
Patti
a
LaBelle?
bad sound. Yes, Patti LaBelle.
what I thought.
Not a
Yeah.
bad soundtrack.
That's-
It's very of the time.
Oh, yeah, of
But it's
course.
not bad.
And she's got multiple songs on
Yeah,
the soundtrack,
so that first
right?
song was Patti LaBelle.
Yeah.
And this is also her.
Yeah, I
yes.
can tell Patti LaBelle's voice very unique, very distinct. But you're
Yeah.
right. I'm with you. They've been very 80s, but honestly,
No, it's when I go through and try and pick these out and stuff. I was like, all right, that's a good movie. We'll see. And then we got it. I was like, all right, yeah.
So what? Can I ask you what made you pick Beverly Hills Cop?
Because it came out on December 5th, 1984. So you're like, it came out 2
Okay.
days ago,
All right.
38 years ago.
So you hadn't watched it lately and went, oh, you know
No,
what?
no. I look through movies that have come out around the same time, birthdays. I look at a lot of different things, see if there's
Okay.
a connection or something I can tie into something.
All right, no complaints here. Harsh got it on the first one, so
Yep,
we appreciate it. All right, you can always be a part of the show. Hit us up, Spec Text Line 512-337-3776. We'll talk some Cowboys, Texans, and also we're going to check in with my man Snoop, JJ Dunn, or Zach Lucero down there at Waterloo Ice House. We're celebrating the All-Flex finalists, which were announced. That was actually announced yesterday, and if you want to go check out the finalists, you can go do that at FLXATX.com, FLXATX on all of your social media platforms. Snoop joined us earlier live in studio. We're going to check in again, actually, right after the show. I'm going to head down there real quick, go say hi to everybody. They're going to have a live broadcast from Waterloo Ice House, 22, 22, and 360, starting at 7, so 7 to 9, and I'll go out there and hang out a little bit. But if you're one of our Flex finalists and you haven't gone out there to get your award, all right, your certificate of accomplishment, please do get out there because those guys are doing a great job, and they've been out there all day. They've been out there since
All
3.
day, yep.
They're going to be out there till 9, so we appreciate their dedication. We'll hear from them coming up in about 10 minutes from now. All right, we talked about the Cowboys a little bit, and we got time to get back into the Cowboys. Oh, really quick, because we didn't get into this earlier. But the Cowboys did sign a cornerback. You said they needed to do it, Harsh.
Yep.
You were like, man, I want them to sign a cornerback. And they went out
They finally
and found one, a veteran cornerback,
Yeah.
Mackenzie Alexander.
Mackenzie Alexander, who last played with Minnesota, I believe. I
Yep.
think that was the team that he last played with. But that was something that, as the season has gone on and we've saw how Trayvon Diggs has been playing on one side of the field, the other teams start to attack the side of the field that he's not on. And the Cowboys hasn't really been providing a lot of safety help over the top
No, they
because
play a lot of
saying-
man-to-man.
because they
Cowboys play a lot
come
of man-to-man.
downhill and
Yeah,
they want to
they
come
play
in
man-to-man.
and play the gaps. But Anthony Brown was getting toasted regularly. And then when he came off the field, they would put boss man Fats in there, Kelvin Joseph. He would get toasted. And you brought up the stat earlier that he was leading the team in penalties with
6 of them.
Yeah.
Who's second?
Was
He's
second on the team with 6 of them, and that's in the defensive side of the ball. So that means they're getting the ball down the field because he's doing things he's not supposed to. And I just thought that was a void because everybody was talking about OBJ and need to go get another part of it. The offense is still number 1 in the league. Yes, you do need threats.
Yeah, you're killing it.
But you're still doing well in the league, points per game as far as that's concerned. But you needed help. You definitely needed help in that secondary because if we're going to play against a Jalen Hurts who seems to get better at the passing game as the season's gone on. And as of right now, it looks like the first round, if the playoffs were to end today, you're going to be playing against Tom Brady on the road with
I
Mike
like that.
Evans.
That's
You know what I'm
sexy.
saying? There's
yeah,
so
Eagles
much
when you get
there's-
Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown. So you're like, our number 2, so you can't guard both of them with one guy.
No.
Exactly.
No, I agree with that.
So you definitely need to go and get that addressed about everything else. So it's just been one of those things where if you're going to try to build something and you think that this is your time to go, you might have wanted to look in the secondary more so than you did on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, no, I think you made a good point. Obviously, Cowboys agree with you. They signed a quarterback less than 24 hours after you made the statement. I like Deron Bland, though. I will say that he's a 5th rounder, and he'll have tougher tests and tasks ahead of
for
him
sure.
than what he had versus the Colts. Highest grade defender, though, in Week 13 by Pro Football Focus. 94 grade, 2 receptions allowed on 7 targets, only 9 yards allowed, but got 2 picks. Got a PBU, had a coverage stop, so he played well. It'll be between Deron Bland and Kelvin Joseph, Bossman Fats, and Nashawn Wright. Those will basically be the guys you're going to try to go out there and kind of moneyball that other corner. And I've been the other corner. When I played with Quentin Jammer, and honestly, when I played with Nathan Vasher, I was still probably much the other corner. You didn't want to throw at Nathan Vasher. I mean, it's the reason he's got the most interceptions, or tied for the most interceptions in Texas football history. It's because that guy was a ball hawk. So throwing at him was just a fool's errand. You do better throwing at Stonehands over there because he might knock it down, but they ain't gonna pick it off and take it to the house. So playing opposite Quentin Jammer, who was a top 10 pick in the NFL draft, and opposite a guy like Nathan Vasher, just a natural ball hawk. A lot of times, teams decide to just target what I call the other corner, the one that gives you a better chance at success. And that was me a lot of years. And that's whoever. That's going to be Anthony Brown. It was him, but that's Deron Bland, Kelvin Joseph, Nahshon Wright, that other guy. And you're right. You can build an entire offensive game plan around attacking that other corner.
Right.
If he is not up to the task.
If he's not up to the task, and that's why you got to continue to try to piece those together. And if you're and just like what Jerry said, he feels like he trusts his guys, but sometimes you got to add one more piece. Even if you got to put him on the practice squad. He's had guys on the practice squad. Sheffield is on the practice squad that they haven't activated yet. He may get activated this week. You talked about Bland. He's playing a little bit better.
He's playing better.
But there's pieces to this team, and I appreciate what Dan Quinn is able to draw up. But you're going to have to make adjustments because right now you're going through the weakest part of your schedule. After you play Houston this weekend, you got Jacksonville. They're getting better.
I say Jacksonville ain't no pushover.
Right, ain't no pushover.
No easy win there.
And then you got
they
the Titans,
throw the ball.
and they throw the ball a lot.
Yeah.
Right? Trevor Lawrence has been looking a lot better.
And then you go up against the Titans, and then of course you got the Eagles. So this is that big push that they're going to have to go through.
You got a couple of games to kind of get it together. But then after that, you'll have some real tests
Challenges, man.
coming up because I think the Titans will be a big test. We'll get into the Titans here in a second. And of course, we know the big showdown versus the Eagles, which is Christmas Eve.
Yep, Christmas Eve.
Boy, it's going to be a hell of a game.
I don't know if I like my presents.
I will say, man, y'all better be able to handle Philip Dorsett and Chris Moore getting thrown to by Davis Mills.
Yeah, so if that other corner out there can't cover those guys,
Yeah.
then
You got a bigger problem.
You need to go make a huge investment on a free agent corner of some kind.
No.
I think they'll be okay this week, though, no doubt about it. All right, guys, let's talk about let's go Baker Mayfield first.
Okay.
There are two NFL stories I want to get into. The John Robinson thing is curious. Let's go Baker Mayfield first.
Down
Claim
with it.
off of waivers. By the way, there was only one team that made a claim for Baker Mayfield, and it was the Rams. That was it. Is that good or bad?
Well, I thought there was a pecking order that you had to go through.
There is, but it still was reported by Pro Football Talk that only one team made a claim.
Well, they needed it. They don't have a quarterback. Matthew Stafford is going to probably not even play the rest of the season, if I'm not mistaken. The backup quarterbacks have been awful. At least Baker Mayfield, for all of his drama that he was a number 1 overall pick. He was a Heisman Trophy winner. He's got another opportunity. And, of course, Sean McVay is looking at it and saying, I can't go out like this. At least get me a guy in here to make sure that it gives me an absolute chance to win a ball game.
Yeah.
And I think that's what McVay was looking at.
Yeah, and I want to talk about this too. I think that the Rams kind of have to show good faith to some of these players that they all convinced to come back for another season.
Yep.
When you say we already traded away our first-round pick, so we're not really tanking for a top pick, we do have other picks in this draft, but we're not going to win a ton of games. But you have to show good faith that, hey, Aaron Donald, you know how we convinced you to come back instead of retiring? Hey, Sean McVay, you know how we convinced you to come back instead of going to broadcast? All you guys that were going to walk away and we convinced you all to come back because we're going to run it back, and now we're god-awful?
We're run
Hey,
over.
let me show you a little faith that we're not tanking completely.
That's a good
Let's bring
point.
in another quarterback so at the end of this year, y'all all don't try and bail again,
Right.
and we have to go out there and go raise a bank again to try and make sure no one retires and gets
I
out.
was going to say, do we think that Matt Stafford is thinking about hanging it up potentially?
Oh, he has to, man. At this point,
Do we think that?
I
wonder-
don't think Matt Stafford is the type of guy who will ever really willingly hang it up, but I think it may get to a point where it's not really his choice anymore.
That's a good point. It's just I think the narrative is just weird now because you got listen, it was worth it to get Matt Stafford because you got a Super Bowl. So
Yep.
I'm always the guy that says I don't give a damn what you gave up. If you won a Super Bowl, it was worth it.
Oh, for
Now,
sure.
Whatever you gave up, I know they're in maybe salary cap hell and they don't really have draft picks for the future, mortgage the future. I get it, but it worked. F them picks. They got a
Yep.
Super Bowl. But it is very strange. So it worked. But now, look, if you ever watched Jared Goff,
yeah, he's balling. Him
Jared
and
Goff-
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
even before Matthew Stafford got, the
Yes.
injury was out, Jared Goff was actually playing as well, if not better.
Yep. And the worse they play, the better the draft pick is going to be for them.
The Lions get a top 5 pick for the Rams
exactly.
now. As a result of that draft, it's just weird. The Rams, they did win. They won.
Yeah.
They went all in. They won. But now it's working out where the Jared Goff and that draft pick, that's going to be really good for the Lions. End up being a really good pick trade for them because Jared Goff's working out for him. And the Rams might have to start over at quarterback.
Well, they might have
it's
just
a
picked
possibility.
it.
They got to start over at quarterback without draft picks.
Right. That's why
draft
they're
one.
looking at Baker. This is his trial.
That's kind of my thing. I think
This is it.
I think they're saying, you know what? He was the number 1 overall pick, man. Listen,
just like I
McVay,
said.
look what you did with Jared Goff when you
Yeah.
first got here. You took him to a Super Bowl
Yes.
when everybody thought he was a bust. He had Jeff freaking Fisher, all right? It had everybody believing that Jared Goff was a bust when, honestly, it was the ineptitude and dysfunction of Jeff Fisher's programs and football teams, no matter what they were. But he came in and took their team to a Super Bowl with a limited Jared Goff. And now Jared Goff, I think, is using some of those lessons and becoming a decent quarterback, a really good quarterback in the league.
And he's getting pushed by Dan Campbell and his wildness,
Exactly.
and he believes in him. And
Yep.
he's got a top wide receiver in Amon-Ra St. Brown who's putting
Mm-hmm.
up numbers every single week.
I think they're banking on what if McVay can pull another reclamation project? We're not talking about for a franchise future quarterback. No. To just get us to get us past this cavern, this that we're dealing with right now. To get us past this period of where we have very little draft picks and this really really end up kind of in a purgatory of sorts where they can compete if they really wanted to, but are they building anything for the future without draft picks or salary cap space? Probably
Right.
not.
Right.
And you need somebody to help you get through that dark period. Maybe Baker Mayfield's the guy if you're in a reclamation project. And we've seen more of these. Geno Smith, Ryan Tannehill's one, Jared Goff is one. But more of these in the NFL lately.
And if you're the Rams, $1.3 million to basically know if you're going to go after him in the offseason or not is 100% worth that investment.
Absolutely.
To go, hey, man, we were going to look at you in the offseason. Let's give you a tryout during this season.
Yeah.
And then we know not to offer you a big contract if you suck and we don't like you.
Yeah.
If you're a locker room cancer and you suck, then cool. We didn't waste a bunch of money signing you in the offseason thinking we had a guy.
Yeah.
But
like that.
So we're going to kind of test you out and give you a trial
and then
run.
you give me some great.
Or if he turns out to be great, on the flip side,
Got
you're
him
like,
on
cool,
cheap.
now we know we'll lock you up because now we just re-sign you.
The humility that
like
he's
that.
going through right now is what he needed. That is what it is. You went from the penthouse to the outhouse, and now you got an opportunity to resurrect your career, or this could be it. You're going to be that lifetime backup again where you're going to make some money, you're going to have some fun, but you're not going to be in the spotlight as much as you possibly thought you were going to be, and here's your opportunity. And then we were talking about this the other day. All this money that they've spent on these guys. Matthew Stafford just got $40 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Donald just made 31.6. Cooper Kupp just signed for 26.7.
Yeah.
Allen Robinson 15.5. Joseph Noteboom, a left tackle who was coming in to replace Whitworth, 13.3. And Ashawn Robinson is making $8.5 million, and all of them have not been playing.
Yeah.
It's crazy when you start thinking about that.
They had their
picks.
They had their their run of luck in the playoffs, and they did. Everything fell right where it needed to fall. Remember we talked about it. They were an interception away in the 49er game from everybody saying, we told you the Matt Stafford trade was going to be a disaster, but it wasn't.
Right.
You know what I mean? They can't. Remember the way that Bucks game started off?
Oh, man.
Remember how weird that game was when they had all these fumbles and crazy stuff happening? It fell the right way. And that's why Jerry Jones this year, he's like, I'm going all in, man.
Yep.
I've watched it happen. I've watched Tampa Bay do it just recently. I watched the Rams do it. Remember Bucks was struggling early with Tom Brady that year, last year, and everybody was like, 2 years ago, and everybody was like, oh, man, it looks like that was a terrible move by Tom Brady to go to the Bucks. Don't like it's working. And then all of a sudden, maybe mid-season, they found their groove. I think, if you're Jerry Jones, you've been watching it, you got as good a shot as anybody.
Yep.
You watched what the Bengals did last year? And one of the running mates in the Super
Oh,
Bowl?
man.
Got hot at the right time?
That's what it's all about.
It's anybody's game right now.
Yep.
Anybody can make that run. You got about 5. I think there are 5 to 7 teams right now I can see making that run in the NFL this year.
Possibly. Oh, for sure.
Because now the Bengals are on there,
The
too.
Bengals are the ones
Bengals are
leading
one-
in that
yeah.
direction right now.
The Bengals, you got the Chiefs, you got
Yep.
the Bills on that side, you
Yep.
got the 49ers, the Cowboys, the Eagles. There's probably another one I'm missing, too.
Oh, don't forget the Raiders are coming back. 3 straight wins, baby. Come back.
Tomorrow night. Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow
your
night, I
Raiders
get
are there.
win number
Raiders.
4.
By the way, Drake May just said, "Can never leave this place. I'm a Tar Heel." So that's
Drake
how
May
that works.
staying?
He said he's
Okay.
staying. I was like, that family lineage is too strong for him to just
man.
walk away.
Yeah, no, you
Yeah.
made a good point, and I'm glad that because I think there's a lot of scuttlebutt on
Yep.
the Twitterverse. I'm glad that he put those rumors to rest. All right, let's jump out to our friends over at Waterloo Ice House. That's where the party is happening. It is a all Flex celebration extravaganza. We did announce and present our All Flex finalists yesterday. Go to flxatx.com. You can go check those out for yourself. But right now, we got the I'm not sure. Is it Snoop or Zach? Which one's
We got
on?
Zach in the line.
Zach, my man, Zach. I knew it was Zach. Zach Lucero joining us right now on the hotline. What's going on, Zach? How you doing, brother?
What up, Rob B? What up, Coach Harge? How y'all
What's
doing, man?
happening? What's happening? What's
It's fun
happening?
out here. We have a bunch of athletes coming in and out. Had a great conversation with a bunch of the Vandergrift guys. Brady Buchanan talking about the confidence they have going into a big game against Katy this weekend. Rod, your boy Justin Strong is in the building,
Nice.
waiting to come and meet you, dap you up a little bit. So it's been a great night so far, Rod.
Man, you tell Justice I'm headed out there, man. About 30 minutes, I'll be there because I want to meet him too. He's one of my favorite players. But let me ask you, just really quickly, your thoughts about the overall Flex finalists and your thoughts about the team. You were a big help to us, and obviously one of the main contributors to this All Flex finalists here. What are your thoughts about the team that now just been announced?
I don't know if anybody's as big of a help as Coach Hart. You know, he knows everybody, so he had a lot of input for the list. But man, I think we did a great job. I mean, you're never gonna, no one's ever gonna win in every single aspect. I mean, just look at Texas with Ford getting left off the Big 12 all defensive players list.
Yeah.
So no one's always gonna be happy, but there's some like talent in the area that no one can question. Guys like Austin Novosad being on our list, Brady Buchanan, Taven Lewis, the guys that have been showed up, Alex Foster, Miles Coleman, what they've done, and then some of the guys that might not show up on Max Preps or might not show up on 247 Sports or on ESPN Top 300, but what they've meant for the team. You talk about a guy like Justin Strong. I mean, a guy that's almost single-handedly helped turn that program around from what they were last year. The numbers that he's put up and the success that they've had this year, those things have to correlate. So I think we did a great job. I mean, 16 hours on the phone later, I think we're all right.
16 hours. I love that, Zach, because you know how long it was, my man. But let's talk about it even more so. I mean, you got an opportunity to see LBJ. You got to call some of their games and actually be on the sideline. So you got a chance to see a lot of these players up close and personal. And then, of course, the work that you do with Flex ATX. You guys have got the pulse of these young kids and the ears of these coaches. One of the things Rod and I were talking about is making sure that these coaches get us the information, get you guys the information. If you want to fight for your kids, start fighting for them. Is that something that you guys have talked to these coaches about and even some of these players and parents?
Yeah, you know, first of all, I want to shout out Coach Compton over at Hutto. His first year on the job coming from Buda Johnson, but that's a guy that was constantly hitting up me and Derek in the Flex account trying to put on for his students. And I think he won, really. I mean, you talk about Will Hammond. Everybody knows the two quarterbacks that have to be on that list, and Austin Novosad and Brady Buchanan, and everything else was up in the air. But because Coach Compton is in our ear and letting us know of his guys' numbers, we included Will Hammond on that list. And then another guy is Coach Hatcher over at Anderson. He's a guy that invited us out to that Midnight Madness thing they have the first day of padded practice before the season. He came out today without his players. His players aren't even here yet, but Coach Hatcher wanted to come out and tell us thank you for the coverage that we provided his kids. Wanted to take a picture with the three Anderson nominees with their certificates. So we know how passionate coaches are. We know how passionate the parents are. We hear you. We see your messages. Keep them coming, and the more you inform us, the more we will be informed, and the better the chance that your kid, your player, your son, your nephew, your grandson will be included on our list for years to come.
Yep, I totally agree. As a matter of fact,
100%.
I shortchanged Peyton Morgan a pick six
Yeah.
yesterday when I was giving out the DBs. I was listening to DBs, and somebody hit me up and said, "Hey,
It was
man,
Zach. Zach
it was
sent it
Zach.
to you.
Yeah,
That's
Zach,
right.
yeah, Zach hit me up. It was like, hey, man.
Peyton texted me. He said,
Okay, there
"Hey,
you
tell
go.
Rod
Hey.
on the radio that he done jipped me 2 pick sixes."
Exactly.
But real quick,
that's great, man. That's
real
what we
quick,
need.
watch. Hey, shout out Peyton Morgan. It's actually his birthday today, so
Happy birthday,
he's not going to make
Peyton.
it out to. He's not going to make it out to the event, but he said he had to go to Tokyo Steakhouse. So.
Hey, that's my
Hey.
spot.
Man's doing it. He's
So,
celebrating.
shout out-
He's celebrating being on that
shout
flex
out,
finalist, man. That's all.
Yeah, shout out Peyton Morgan. And I know you have a great relationship with him, so shout out Peyton Morgan on his birthday.
And I think you made a great point, Zach, about the participation from the coaches and the community and the families of these great athletes and even the athletes themselves. Appreciate Peyton Morgan to set me straight on the pick sixes because when Coach Clausen of Elgin sent us those stats on Justin Strong, man, they're mind blowing. I'd be keeping up my own stats, but it's hard for us to piecemeal all that stuff together. So as much participation as we can get, much information as data as we can get about these players helps us to put together a more accurate evaluation of their performance.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it's we cover so many different teams, and Snoop and Craig can only be stretched so thin. And I know you guys, it's been so awesome seeing you guys get immersed into this scene, into this high school sports scene. But the only way to make it easier is for these parents and coaches and friends to send us that information. So we're only up from here. This Flex ATX product, this All Flex product, is only up from here, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, and you're a great part of it, Zach, man. We appreciate you. I still remember that day that I thought I was introducing you to Harge for the first time, and then you said, Coach Harge, what's going on? I was like, that's when I was like, Harge know every damn body. But thanks, Zach. We appreciate the time, brother, and I'll see you down there in like 30 minutes or so.
All right, cheers, boys. We'll see you in a bit.
All right, bet.
That's Zach Lucero. Does a great job with Flex, man. These guys are passionate about it. It's obviously the passion project for my man Snoop. He's been on it forever, but now he's assembled a fantastic team. Derek, Zach Lucero. He's got Cameron now working hard. Nolan the Seed on that Flex team as well. And that team helped us get a great all Flex team together. Well, we got the finalists. We're going to reveal the all Flex team officially next week, but we're celebrating those finalists at Waterloo Ice House 360 and 2222. So
That's right.
And I love what he said about the coaches getting involved. It really does matter. I know we're going to do our best, and we're just going to choose players based on merit, based on stats, production, impact on the game, eye test, all those things. But I got to tell you, when you get accurate stats about a guy,
Yeah. It
when you
changes.
get the accolades and they give you the interest story, the kind of the human interest story on him. Oh, just so you know, he also is a big fan of this, and he does
He
community.
saved 3 cats last week from a tree.
You
know what I'm saying?
Lobbying for your guy
Yeah,
or your
yeah.
girl, whichever
Yep.
Flex team we're talking about, it does help.
It
So
does.
coaches and
It
families,
does.
please hit us up, flxatx.com. Go to the contact page.
Because I'm going to be lighting the Flex up here in the next couple years with all the kids in my neighborhood, with all my son's friends. I'm going to be like, hit me out.
And you know every damn body.
And
too,
I'm going to
so
get all the
it's-
stats. I'm going to get all the stats.
All the, that's what I'm saying. It does help. So really proud of those finalists. So congratulations to all of those finalists, and thanks for those who came out to Waterloo Ice House, and thanks for those who are still on their way to Waterloo Ice House. 7 to 9 live broadcast going to be out there with Snoop and the Flex crew.
Yeah,
and
we're
you'll be able
on
to
our
hear.
way.
Yeah, we'll be on our way after the show is over. I want to come over and meet some of the really talented student athletes and some of the Flex finalists. All right, we didn't get to the John Robinson firing for the Titans, so we'll do that on the other side. Also throw in a little Aaron Judge getting that straight cash homie from the New York Yankees. All of that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. By now, everyone knows that my favorite tequila is Hot Cat Tequila. With the holiday season upon us, you can bring in the holidays by breaking out the Hot Cat Tequila. The cat stands for cinnamon, agave, and tequila, and the recipe is just as simple. It's just cinnamon, agave, nectar, and tequila. You can turn your holiday gathering into a party and turn your family get-together into an unforgettable celebration like I did this past Thanksgiving with Hot Cat Tequila. You can be the hit of your holiday party and turn up your holiday party with Hot Cat Tequila. And once you make Hot Cat a part of your holiday season, you'll understand the reason it's my favorite new tequila. Hot Cat also makes a great holiday gift for all the tequila lovers in your life. That includes myself. Hot Cat Tequila also best served cold for a quick round of shots or to sip on the rocks when you're just trying to chill or, throw something on the grill. You can make it a Hot Cat holiday season, folks. So once you try Hot Cat, you won't go back to that old cinnamon whiskey. So this holiday season, bring home Hot Cat for the holidays. Visit cattequila.com. That's cattequila.com to find a store near you that sells Hot Cat Tequila or to find a bar near you that serves Hot Cat Tequila. Toast and turn up this holiday season with Hot Cat Tequila. It is easily one of the most recognizable movie themes in cinema history. Easily.
Yeah.
You automatically connect it when you hear it. Boom.
Yeah, and it's
Automatically
named
connected.
after the lead character.
Axel.
Axel F is the name of the
Yeah.
song.
Oh, is it really?
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right. It's one of those very iconic. It's up there. It's almost like hearing like a Star Wars theme or something like that, or Darth Vader's theme or whatever it is. Like you immediately connect to whatever that movie franchise is. All right, it's the midweek movie music edition of Ball Don't Lie. My man Patrick plays jams from soundtracks of great movies that inspired him. He plays those songs for us. We're supposed to guess exactly what the movie was. My man Harch got it on the first guess this time around.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about John Robinson, former general manager of the Tennessee Titans. Guys, he was kind of fired abruptly out of nowhere. A lot of people were surprised by this move because the Tennessee Titans have had success.
Yep.
Recently and even this year they've had. The Titans are certainly going to win the division this year. It's the AFC South, so I guess the bar is pretty low there.
I was going to say, we've been talking about the Texans tanking.
Yeah, that's true. So I guess they can't brag about that, but they're
Yeah.
also going to make the playoffs for the fourth time in a row.
Yep.
And I
I
mean,
think that's more because of Vrabel, I would say.
I love Vrabel as a coach. It is,
Yep.
but I mean, Robinson's got to take some credit for that. And the Titans have, I think, they have a 9th best winning percentage in the NFL since 2016 when John Robinson took over. And remember, John Robinson and I think Derrick Henry also came in to the organization at the same time. I'm not sure if John Robinson drafted him or if he was in the right before John Robinson got there. But both came in 2016 to the franchise. And John Robinson, give him credit, he basically built the bully ball mentality and the bully ball philosophy around Derrick Henry. So they started to get they started to draft and sign the biggest O-line in the NFL. They wanted to be the most physical running team. So late in the season, all right, when the weather got cold and a lot of teams were banged up and hurt, nobody wanted to tackle Derrick Henry. That's when they would be playing their best football, and it was essentially their version of bully ball. They were playing this with Mike Mularkey, by the way.
Yep.
They made the playoffs playing bully ball with Mike Mularkey. He just thought that Vrabel was a better architect of his vision, and he was, by the way. He was. And then they got the Ryan Tannehill thing that worked out for him, and I thought that they were on their way to just being an AFC competitor. So something happened, guys, along the way here. Some point to the A.J. Brown trade.
A lot points to the A.J. Brown
That
trade.
might have been the reason for this, this rift that happened.
If you go back and look there's some video of the A.J. Brown trade on draft day. Matter of fact, we were at Pluckers doing our draft party. And if you saw Mike Vrabel, when he found out that they were trading A.J. Brown, he got up, shook his head, walked off,
I saw that.
came back, and was still shaking his head like, what are we doing? Like, are we really going to do this? Then you come back and you play him this year, and you get curb stomped by him. He scores 2 touchdowns, and he beats you pretty bad. But then you can also go back and look at some of his personnel decisions that he's made as the GM. So you say, okay, he used the first-round picks in 2021 on an offensive tackle, Isaiah Wilson, who played 1 game with the Titans and now is out of football. Then you go back and you look at he also drafted Caleb Farley. Remember the defensive back, the cornerback. Yeah. I think he's from Virginia Tech, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, right.
He got hurt in the draft, and now he's been out for the first 2 years. Then he tried to sign the free agents Vic Beasley, Bud Dupree, Jadeveon Clowney, Julio Jones, and Robert Woods, and they've all been bad for you. So some of those decisions, and I think after last week, watching what happened, it was the end of it. It was like, what is going to be our return on this investment for A.J. Brown? I know we got the draft picks, but he just whooped our butt in front of the nation.
He had 10 for 119 and 2 touchdowns.
I'm curious. I'm curious how much of this is all on A.J. Brown and that trade, and how much is him sticking with Ryan Tannehill and them going, oh, well, we had that wide receiver and we didn't do it. We couldn't do that with him. And we had this wide receiver and we couldn't do anything with him. Is it something that the system isn't working, the quarterback isn't working, and that's the guy you've kept going with? Or is it just the wide receiver? I think there could be more of, hey, man, our passing game in general isn't where it needs to be.
Could be fair.
And now people have figured it out and just load the box on us, and we're not able to beat it. And maybe he was a big Malik Willis guy and made the trade for that too. I don't know if he was on that or
Don't
not.
forget about that too.
But there's a lot of moves in the passing game department, more than just A.J. Brown, where they can sit and go, man, you got Derrick Henry. But if you take Derrick Henry off of this team, what have you really built?
And that's a great point. But even now, Derrick Henry actually isn't the force of nature that he once was. And not saying the NFL has figured out Derrick Henry. They haven't, because that guy is still hard to tackle, period, especially in the open field one-on-one. But when you start looking at it, he just hasn't really been dominant. How about this? Derrick Henry, last week versus the Eagles. Eagles have at least they did have a suspect rush defense before they got Linval Joseph and Ndamukong Suh. He didn't force a single missed tackle.
Yeah.
Not one.
Oof.
Yeah.
Not one, gentlemen.
Yeah.
That's kind of his thing.
Well-
That not one guy can tackle me. Y'all got a gang tackle me, and they don't. So I think he's a little less effective. I agree with Patrick. I think the passing game overall is less effective. You're right. A.J. Brown going in there getting 10 touchdowns, 119 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns, 119 yards receiving, and 10 receptions. That didn't help either. And also, I'll throw out there that for John Robinson right now, something else is weird going on, because he signed an extension 10 months ago.
Yeah.
Like 10 months ago. They thought, oh, he's good, he's great.
Yeah.
So something happened just recently.
You know
So
something behind the scenes is about to happen.
something, I think, because remember, they had an offensive coordinator that had a DWI trade. Not saying that has anything to do with it. They had that happen November 18th. So there's weird stuff happening with this organization right now. And I think Vrabel, you're right. He's the prized cow. They want him. All right. He's
Right.
the guy that's winning games. They believe he's winning games in spite of John Robinson. And maybe he is.
Yeah.
But it was John Robinson's vision. The bully ball, that is not a Mike Vrabel vision. That was a John Robinson vision for bully ball, and it actually has worked for him. That's why
It's worked, but it hasn't won them a bunch of playoff games.
It hasn't?
Which is, at the end of the day, nothing matters if you don't win playoff games.
Right?
And
Yeah.
so you can go 16-0, 17-0 every year, and if you lose in that first round, they're still going to fire you after a few years.
They're going to find ways to get rid of you for sure.
That's mostly on
But, like,
Tannehill, because
no-
teams know that late in the season, if they can stop your run, then Tannehill's got to beat you. And Tannehill, most of the time in the playoffs against good teams, he can't beat.
No, and that's the thing, is if you look at like the Ravens or the same team, where you're like, well, yeah, but if your whole premise that you built a good team is there's one guy who's doing it, did you build a good team, or did we just get really lucky with one guy?
It's fair. That's
Yep.
a good point. I agree. I think that's why he tried to go bully ball, because he's like, I want to exacerbate this advantage.
As much as I
Maximum.
can.
want everybody to be more
Yep.
physical. And they're just not more physical than their opponents like they used to be. They used to be able to push people around and Debo people. They don't do that
Yeah,
anymore.
O-lineman, it's hard to keep pushing with those legs
Yep.
year after year after
Yep.
year, and that abuse and the
And
injuries
he's
pile
probably
up.
tired of getting hit that much because they know that the box is filling up for me.
Oh.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm tired of getting
Nobody
popped
faces
every
a
time.
stacked box more than Derrick Henry.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
that
he
gets
was like,
old
you
too.
know what, man, I'm
Yeah.
good.
And then now you don't have the wideouts on the
Yeah.
outside to make the
Right.
teams pay for stacking the box.
and then
against you.
if you're using draft picks on Malik Willis and Traylon Burks, who are both not really stepping up to a level they needed to in their rookie seasons.
You should
Yeah.
you should just sign AJ Brown. Then you should just pay the money.
That's the thing, is I think
Yeah.
that draft probably, when they're looking at it, they're like, so what do we, how much better did we get this offseason? They're like, we didn't get better.
You got cheaper.
We're going better. So you're like, so
Yep.
when Derrick Henry retires, then we'll have those picks. So you basically now we're in rebuild mode.
Yeah, you basically got cheaper, but you didn't get better. And
Yeah,
I think in
exactly.
retrospect, looking back, it's like, man, you should just signed AJ Brown and gave him the money. And it probably since we saw the inflation of the wide receiver position in terms of value, it probably would have slotted him somewhere in the top 10, not necessarily at the top.
Amari Cooper.
Exactly, same situation. It's like,
Amari
So
Cooper.
maybe he misread the market
Yes.
like the Cowboys
Yeah.
did.
And I mean, I'll tell you, Cowboys fans also wish the Titans would have re-signed AJ Brown.
Right. Ding, 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 ding.
Well done. We can end it on that note right there. Well done. All right, we'll come right back, wrap it up, put it in the oven right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn. All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie. We're going to wrap this thing up and put it in the oven. Before we do, we'll let you know what's on tap. What's on tap for us is we're heading down to Waterloo Ice House, 2222 and 360, and getting ready for the live broadcast of the Flex Crew, a Flex finalist extravaganza, a party for all the Flex finalists out there. Reminder, tomorrow we're going to be out amongst the people. As a matter of fact, everybody's going to be out amongst people. Yep. The entire Horn crew from 10 a.m., all the shows, till 7 p.m. So that means Light the Tower, Chad and Zay, and Ball Don't Lie will be at the Georgetown Total Mints. All right, Georgetown Total Mints from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Toys for Tots Toy Drive. All right, Toys for Tots Toy Drive. So come on out, bring a toy, and
unwrapped.
Bring it unwrapped, and do something really nice for a young person out there. I want to thank my man Patrick for doing a great job. I want to thank my man Harge. I want to thank Snoop for joining us. Thank my man Zach Lucero. We're headed out to Waterloo Ice House, 2222 and 360. Get on out there yourself. Remember, the revolution will not be televised. So we're talking about it right here on Ball Don't Lie. We love you guys. We mean that. Take care of yourselves. But more importantly, take care of each other. Peace.